Before we begin, in the spirit of reconciliation and respect, the InkGuild acknowledges that we live, work, and play on the traditional Treaty 7 territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Siksika, the Kainai, and the Piikani nations, as well as the Stoney Nakoda and the Tsuut'ina nations. This territory is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. Finally, we acknowledge all Indigenous and non-Indigenous to honor and celebrate this territory alongside us. Anyone have an intro segment? I can't exactly just play Running Up That Hill.
You're gonna get us copyright struck.
Believe me, if the copyright strikes we've already gotten has been some bullshit. Like, for
We've
one,
gotten copyright stricken?
Yeah, or like we've got like copyright warnings because the Danganronpa video that I did with Mari, like I used the theme song, right?
Yeah.
And I'm imagining, yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's not, it's a licensed property, but the one that kind of bugs me to this day is the one channel trailer that I put up because I used what's that one called? It's a thing. It's apparently the theme song for... It's apparently some theme song, but it's part of an original orchestral composition. It's like... That one?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys recognize that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's that one.
It's from that movie.
Yeah.
I've got a head like a ping pong ball. I've got a head like a ping pong ball. For our opening, we should just have all of us badly sing Running Up That Hill.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey there.
Bonjour.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to the InkGuild podcast. Just go to fucking therapy.
Don't correct me. I don't care.
Need to start a revolution.
I'm going to fucking explode if I don't say this by now.
I brought you to this podcast. I can take you out.
I'm going to summon up his spirit to fix all of this up for me.
You didn't have good enough tea and or comic books, so...
And you know what? I'm gonna say it.
All of them are fucking idiots.
Everyone is taking cocaine.
Just say your morning routine.
Big robot. Oh, I didn't die and make Victor break out his Hoover vacuum for you to call her the girl that turned dad.
Finally, his swordfish was free.
Oh, I forgot what I was...
You get distracted by Gabe.
Hello everybody. Welcome back to the InkGuild podcast. I'm Dean, joined tonight by Alex.
Hey yo.
Gabe.
Hello.
And Marie-Soleil, but unfortunately her she's having some microphone issues right now, so whether she is able to join or not, she will just pop in and she will pop in when she can, but otherwise it will just be the three of us. So tonight, 1 week after the season 4 finale, we are talking about Stranger Things. As is the case with a lot of our media episodes, we start somewhere and just go from there. We don't really ever have a set structure for our media episodes, so let's get started with season 1. Go all the way back to season 1, because that is the one where the three of us for sure have definitely watched. So and just for reference, so Alex and I have seen the most recent season, and Gabe has only watched up until season 3, so he has not seen any of season 4 yet, but basically it's been spoiled to him already. So
I've basically seen.
Yeah,
I've basically seen it.
Yeah, he's basically seen it, but
yes. I was summarizing it to you the other night, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get started then with talking about season 1. Are we okay with starting with season 1?
Yeah.
No, I think we should start with something else.
I actually think we shouldn't talk about Stranger Things at all, Dean, is my input.
Are we just gonna go off track the entire, or go off track, or are we just
2
gonna
hours
talk about
of silence.
Anyway, Stranger Things.
1.
Mm-hmm. How about this? Why did you decide to watch Stranger Things when it came out? Or did you decide to watch it when it came out? Did you wait years later to watch it?
I watched it like on release. I
watched-
remember I had like friends over and like we were on Netflix and we were like, hey, what's this TV show? Stranger Things? What's this? And then we watched it and I remember we really liked the first episode and then we like sort of binge watched the whole thing in one night. It was like a very short meetup that became like an overnighter because we just binged all of season 1 in one drunk sitting.
Mm-hmm.
One sit. Jeez. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a night.
How about you, Alex?
I'm trying to remember when the first season came out. 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was still in high school when it came out, and I didn't want to watch it because it was horror, and I don't do horror.
Mm-hmm.
But all of my friends were like, no, it's really good. It's really not as scary as it seems. So I finally caved in and watched it. And yeah, it wasn't as scary as I thought it was gonna be.
Mm-hmm. I heard that too, and it wasn't necessarily the horror that scared me away. It's just the fact that I wasn't like there were numerous things. So in 2016, I was either like A, watching something else, or B, not really binging like series on Netflix. Like I would occasionally think I was more just like playing video games and watching movies, so I didn't really have the attention span to watch Stranger Things. And it's only recently actually that I binged the entire thing with Mari because that series means like a lot to her. And speaking of Mari, just for just so everyone knows, she was originally going to appear on the episode tonight, but was feeling pretty tired, so she decided to get some rest, which, more than okay with me. Time zones, long distance. Anyway, so yeah, like we binged it pretty much like to completion. Like we started season 1 and then we watched all the way up until season 3 for I think a couple straight weeks. We didn't really watch anything else, or not even a couple straight weeks. I think we watched it in a week and a half. And yeah, going back to season 1, I remember thinking, holy shit, this is a really good series. Why did it take me so long to join, or why did it take me so long to like kind of get started, right?
Yeah, I also, when season 4 was announced, I decided to rewatch the whole thing from the beginning. So yeah, season 1, it's so good. It's a very strong and like self-contained story, which I really appreciate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way it introduces all its concepts is really good. Like like in the first episode, like the foreshadowing. Can you even call it that when it literally happens like immediately after that scene? But like when Will's like the Demogorgon, it got me, and then goes missing immediately. It's so good. And like the slow like introduction of everything and like the slow build up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that Stranger Things, like I love the pacing that they do in Stranger Things, especially in the first season, because yeah, you're right, it's very self-contained. You have a good like set of like key characters that kind of, or that are consistent throughout the story, and they have such strong introductions. They're really I don't know how to say this, like impressionable, I think. Like they're so like they're just so full of energy and so full of like depth already that you don't really need to kind of like, take multiple episodes to kind of build them up. They're like immediately a presence. And I think specifically with the main 4 boys, so you have Mike, Will, Dustin, and Lucas. Fantastic like group to kind of like, follow along as the series progresses, and especially to start the season or the series with.
Yeah, I think they also like they have like good chemistry, like they work really well together.
Oh yeah.
I found myself like rooting for them so much. And also this changes in later seasons, but like Mike's initial like fascination with 11 is honestly really cute and wholesome.
Yeah.
It's really annoying really fast in later seasons, but in season 1 it's really cute.
And speaking of like 11, not to kind of like, you know, because we're talking about characters, 11's introduction is very cool. Like it's very like it's shrouded in enough mystery and intrigue to really kind of like draw you into not just 11 as a character, but like where she came from and like the research institute that she came from, and like it's so well done. It really paces itself. Like the whole thing with like 11 and her connection to the upside down and all and eventually when we all kind of figure that out is awesome. Like it's paced so well. And 11 is a sorry, Alex, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, the build up of that, and like the slow reveals as like, you know, you slowly start to like put the pieces together as all the other characters also start to put the pieces together is really fun. Season 1 has like a really, really well done mystery arc, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gabe, how about you? Any kind of initial opinions on season 1 or?
I miss Benny. The show peaked with Benny. That I remember when we were watching, when we and friends were watching it, we're like, oh, this dude's so great. I hope this is like a main character or something. Dead.
Yeah, he did not last long.
Yeah.
And immediately after that, we were like, oh, Barb is so delightful. I really like her. I bet she's gonna have some wacky adventures in this television series. Dead.
Yeah. I can't believe I almost forgot about Barbara. Yeah, that was
You forget about Barb.
Well, like because in terms of side characters, yeah, Barbara was it's not that a thing. Like of course, like Barbara is a really key motivator for Nancy, but just like I agree with you. It's so unfair what happened to her.
I find the Barb plotline very weird, but we can talk about that later.
What do we think of, so we talked about the main 4 and 11, so now what do we think of like, so there's what, Nancy, Jonathan, Steve.
I love Nancy and I love Steve. Jonathan has his moments.
I'm gonna be honest, this season 1 I thought Jonathan was a little creep. I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, I don't know. In terms of impressions, like for those 3 specifically, I think Steve and Nancy had a really good they started off the story with a really interesting relationship, which I can't wait to talk about later. But the way that like Jonathan kind of factors into all of it doesn't really, I don't know, it just feels not sudden, but just weird, and I can't really describe it as anything more than that.
Yeah, I think Steve is a really interesting character. Cuz like the thing is, you know, when you're watching season 1 with no context of like the rest of the show, he's just kind of supposed to be this douchebag.
Yeah.
But there's something like weirdly compelling about him, I find, even in season 1, where like there's just like this earnestness about him when it comes to his relationship with Nancy, and like, you know, the genuine hurt when he thinks that like, you know, she's like cheating on him. And it's like he doesn't do good things because of like his reaction to those things, and like the choices he makes are really bad. But like I feel like you can genuinely understand where he's coming from, and then he immediately is like, wait, I've been a piece of shit, and goes and makes a difference. Top tier character.
And he tells those two like shitty friends is to stuff it at the end of like season 1.
Yeah. Which I mean,
that pisses me off. The people are like, oh, he only got good after season 1. Like,
No. He became good in season 1.
Yeah, like the whole point of Steve, kind of looking back in retrospect, was just that he started out not knowing any better, but now after so much growth and development, after essentially like questioning like his relationship with Nancy and like how he's really been treating her and like how he's really been treating others, like yeah, his development starts there. He becomes a good character by the end of season 1, not by the end of season 2 or not by the end of season 3. Like in that first season, he grows a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, Stan Steve.
It's probably the best character out of like the teenager characters. I guess they're all teenagers now, but like in season 1,
Yeah, the older kids.
Yeah, no, and then again, I do really like Nancy. I've always had a soft spot for her. Like I like that she gets to be like this, like incredibly smart woman who like she notices something is wrong and she like pursues it, and I think that's like a really fun arc. She makes some interesting choices, but like in the moment you kind of like understand where she's coming from. Like, sure, this guy was creepy and took a bunch of photos of her in like a private moment when he shouldn't have, but he also might know something that can help her. And so like you can see her like like realize that they can work together to find out what happened to Barb. And yeah.
Which Nancy's conflict too in season
It's
1.
great.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's really good.
The like conflict between like, trying to find who she is and like sticking with her friends, but also like, the guy she likes. But then also like, her friend is missing, so she needs to deal with that, but she can't explain that to Steve. Like there's so much going on and like, good character arc. I like her. I like Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy's thing. Like it especially is a really strong thing. It's a really strong debut for her character. Like where they kind of take Nancy's like initial intrigue, Alex, as you were pointing out, like her determination to like seek out answers. Like it really is fitting that in later seasons she becomes like a reporter and is like trying to like find the truth and stuff. Like that's a wonderful thing, and we'll kind of get more into that as the season or as we talk more about other seasons. But just like yeah, like she starts off thing like it's really good how early they've planted the seeds for pretty much everyone's development, right? Like,
yeah, I do think the through line with Nancy was well done. At least like in that aspect.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll come back to the relationship drama later, but
I can't wait. I think then
you have to talk about the adults.
I was gonna say, yeah. Amazing performances and writing for like Hopper and Joyce, who are unquestionably my favorite adults in the thing in the episode or in the season, because they're just fantastic. They have such
really
good depth.
Others anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are, but you're right. They don't really have as much personality and as much depth as Hopper and Joyce do. Like Joyce
and Hopper are actually like involved in the plot.
Yeah.
Like Mike and Nancy's parents are like kind of important, but they don't add to the plot. Joyce and Hopper are actively trying to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
I do love Mike's dad. I remember in season 1, Mike's dad cracked me the fuck up.
He's so useless.
I was gonna say
he's hysterical.
Like he just makes some snide comment. I'm like, dude.
His entire character is sitting in a chair ignoring his wife.
He's a man after my own heart. What can I say?
Oh my god.
You also ignore your wife?
Are you gonna ignore your wife, Gabe?
I thought you said life.
I mean, he does do that too, but I did say his wife.
Oh my god. Yeah. at this point, as much as I hate, or like as much as I thought, like, and before we talk more about Joyce and Hopper, who are pretty much like the key adults in the series, just Mike and Nancy's parents are just at this point like they're fun to hate because you're realizing like, oh my god, they're not doing anything.
Okay, but like, I actually genuinely like their mom. Like,
Yeah,
I think
I
she's
mean-
actually like an interesting character.
Mhm.
And this comes up more like in like later seasons, not so much the first one, but like you can tell how much she cares about her kids, and like you really do get the sense that she's kind of stuck, and like there's not much she can do.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
like her kids are involved in all this stuff that she doesn't even like know about or understand, but she's worried about them, and she like, you know, wants the best for them, and she's so supportive of like Nancy's struggles and stuff. Like, I honestly genuinely like her a lot as a character.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I mean, of the main four's like parents, it's certainly Mike and Nancy's that have the more involved role. Like, you kind of, well, I mean, you know, obviously not counting Joyce, which is a whole other thing, but just like you don't really hear from like Lucas's parents all that much, and Dustin's mom speaks up every so often, but yeah, like taking into account like Joyce is obviously the more involved within the main story, but then like Mike and Nancy's parents also play a pretty interesting, especially with Nancy's mom and or with the mom in later seasons.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I also feel like that's partially because like I would argue Mike is like the main character aside from maybe Joyce in the first season.
He was the main boy.
Yeah, he's like he's like the focus. He drives a lot of the plot.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that like his parents are like more involved than his friends.
Mm-hmm. And I mean within within that first season especially, a lot of focus between the teenagers, I guess, was Nancy, so she was kind of at the center of both like Steve's conflict and Jonathan's.
Yeah.
So the Wheeler family's running shit.
They're important.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the first season. Again, and later that will change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gabe, what are your thoughts on like Hopper and Joyce?
I absolutely love. I love Hopper. His introduction is very solid. I love Joyce in season 1. Joyce is such a like compelling protagonist. And I love Winona Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. I think that was like the thing that like did it for me actually. Because like when like that like got me to like start watching. So I was like, oh my god, Winona Ryder's in this. That fucking awesome. And then like I watched it and she's like great in it.
She is great in it.
It's maybe my favorite portrayal, or it's maybe my favorite iteration of Joyce throughout the season, because she is so actively involved in the story that it just makes me think. It just makes me like give so much credit, because it makes Winona Ryder shine. Like as an actor, she is fantastic because she is driving a lot of the story too. And I'm not trying to say that she doesn't in later seasons, but particularly in season 1, for such a strong, like for such a renowned actress to like carry the show like that, and obviously not just by herself, but just giving that solid of a performance was fantastic.
She does so good. Joyce as a character is great in season 1.
Yeah.
Just like, because like she does like a really good job of like portraying this like single mother with 2 boys who's like already kind of like frayed and stressed constantly, and then one of them goes fucking missing. And she just like, I feel like she portrays that distress very well, that like I know what's going on, like he's my son, people need to trust my instincts about this. And then she's like, she's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just it's fantastic development. And just like the kind of early I don't know, I kind of like my memory doesn't really serve me that well right now, but the connections between Joyce and Hopper, like it was kind of there in season 1, but predominantly like Hopper had his own story and then Joyce had his own story, and then those two eventually started intersecting more in season 2. If I'm right, I don't know. Like I know that they like communicated throughout season 1, but it wasn't as strong of like a relationship in season 1. Am I right?
Yeah.
So
I want to say so. Like I feel like season 1 Hopper's mostly just doing his job and Joyce happens to be the person he's doing his job for.
Yeah.
But then after the extremely traumatic events of season 1, they start like forming a stronger bond for sure. Then by season 4, their plot lines literally revolve around each other, so that's great.
Since we're now talking about like the plot, oh wait, no, hold on. We haven't even talked about like the other key adults in the story, and that's what Dr. Brenner and Dr. Owens.
Is Dr. Owens even in season 1? Also, who is Dr. Owens? That's a
I don't know if he was in season 1. I think maybe he was introduced later in later in the series, but Dr. Brenner.
He was introduced in season 2. Stranger Things wiki. Help me out here. Da 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 da. Owens, where are you? Do. This doesn't help. Yeah, he appears in season 2. He's not in season 1. I hate Brenner. I'm just gonna say it. Hate that man. I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him. I hate him.
I do
like a bad dude.
Yeah. Like
on the inside.
Yeah, just for what? What is his role basically in the first? Like, is he like a primary villain?
That's his role.
What was that, Alex? Sorry.
He's a dick. That's his role.
Okay. Like, so
he's looking for 11. That's what he does in season 1. He wants 11 back so he can torture her more.
Which is fucked, and that's a really good place to start off for your audience to hate a character. Yeah, fuck that.
My hatred for him only grows with every season. Even though he's not in literally 2 seasons, I still hate him more with every episode.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. His legacy throughout the series has been still so prominent because you don't have to have the character be alive to just be reminded of just how awful that character is. And God, Brenner's an awful character. Very well written, kind of awful.
I actually forgot he existed until I started my rewatch. But I still hate him.
Yeah, good villain. And
great villain.
I think then I don't know if we want to talk about now the story of season 1, because I don't know, for some reason like the plot of Stranger Things has always kind of been like, I don't care what the characters do as long as as long as the characters are just like, doing their thing, or the Upside Down itself. Because the Upside Down, from like a world building perspective, awesome.
It's super cool. It's super cool conceptually, and then like the way they actually portray it, so good, so uncomfortable.
It's very good thing. It's a very good bar to set in terms of the horror that Stranger Things has, and like the sound design, the visual look of everything, like just the feeling of like how familiar everything is, and it's literally supposed to be because it's just the Upside Down. It's so good. Like they really knew kind of how to build everything in like this very like disgusting, very kind of almost grimy feeling, and it expands more with future seasons, which is awesome.
Yeah, I really like also like the connection. Like, okay, like when the kids go to their science teacher and like gets that explanation of like the tightrope walker and the flea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that's really, and then like the way that they'll like continue to like use that to be like, top of the game board, this is our world, flip it up, this is where Will is.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the lights is like the connection point is really neat. Like just like this way of like communicating between the barriers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that I think that they carried on really well throughout the show, because like they use that so much in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it's so creative, and you get some of the most visually like. There were some really stunning scenes in the first season, like when Joyce had all of the Christmas lights up.
Yes, iconic scene.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was wonderful. That was a really good performance by Winona Ryder.
I love the soundtrack in that scene too. That shit's like haunting.
Mm-hmm. Like that's so creative. Just it's something that feels very familiar, and yet something that I personally have never seen before, and I think that's maybe just because
Christmas
of
lights.
No, like the use of like, well, specifically Christmas lights, obviously, but just like the use of using like light to communicate, right? Because you normally never think of using, like if you turn a flashlight on in a room, okay, the room's lit, but now like characters are using light to communicate between two different dimensions. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very interesting, especially because like I feel like when people do think of using like light as like a communication, is always like Morse code, which like does get used in the show as well, but it's like not explicitly that,
Yeah.
Because like Joyce has like the like letters written, and it's like, oh, use these to tell me what you're trying to tell me, kind of thing. I also think that season 1 is very smart about how much of the Upside Down it shows us.
Oh,
like
yeah.
we get like glimpses of it here and there, but we don't see it very much until the end of the season.
Well, I mean, wasn't there some kind of I don't know thing. There's obviously the whole fear of the unknown thing. So I think maybe building up to the reveal of the Upside Down and just teasing it throughout the season and then eventually revealing it until the end. That's a very good thing to think. That's a very good thing to pace, personally, because if you were to reveal all of the Upside Down immediately, then I don't know, you would just kind of lose, like, and obviously like throughout the season, like throughout the series we would get more glimpses of it, but just the fact that we don't always see it kind of helps keep the horror, like the
it helps. It helps with like the building of the like suspense and the like mystery. Like it helps build like the intrigue for like the mystery part of the show, I think.
Yeah, I think where does it that I heard it from? But it's a very common horror trope where they leave the reveal of the monster, they leave the reveal of like the scary town of the serial killer until the very end, so that way audiences play on the fear of the unknown. It could be anything, and it could be all of this, which is what makes horror as a genre fun.
Yeah, but what I like about Stranger Things is that it doesn't leave it till the end. Like the monster doesn't show up in the last episode. Like you see it long before that. It's just like the show does a good job of like building up just little sights of it.
What I
You
like
know?
about that is that it's like, at least with the Demogorgon, because what I remember really digging about that was how like we saw it in like the third episode of the show, but like it's unclear like what it like looks like. They're really good about like lighting and camera trickery to like show it, but not like let you. They don't want to let you have like a good idea in your mind's eye of like what this thing actually looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that like aids really well with like the way the story works. You know, you have that scene where Nancy goes to Jonathan and is like, I saw this thing in the photo. It looked like a man without a face, and Jonathan's like, that's what my mom said.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, because like we kind of have like the same knowledge as the characters at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really works to like help with the like the atmosphere and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It all just goes back to Stranger Things' pacing. Like they really know how to build suspense, as we've been kind of elaborating on. And not to kind of derail too much from the initial point, but just I love the fact that the impact of the legacy of the name Demogorgon has just kind of stuck with the kids, because like it would make sense. Like it's a monster that no one knows the name of. So what an iconic name. What a horrifying monster too. Like while we're speaking about the Demogorgon, it's horrifying.
Yeah, they did a good job designing it.
Yeah. Like I love the fact that like when you open it up, it's like a very like it's very carnivorous plant-esque. The fit like
it's like a gross flower thing. It's awesome.
Yeah. And just the fact that it can stand up too, or there's demodogs, awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also just love that the kids like take their nerdy D&D game and are like, that's what we're fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I mean is it just makes sense, like in terms of like how it just makes sense, because like, you know, kids when they're faced with like or kids would kind of stick to what they know, right?
Yeah.
I kind of forget too, it's kind of like a small tangent, but just like there were the bullies that there were those like those like school bullies that were being like, oh, you guys are fucking nerds, and then 11 just goes and fucks them up. I'm like, I hate that trope of school bullies to begin with, and seeing their comeuppance is pretty much expected at this point.
That fictional thing that
well, I mean, like, of course, obviously, like, you know, school bullies are a menace, but just what in media specifically, it's always hammed up more.
It's so tiresome.
Yeah. Like you kind of know it, and it's like, ugh. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, that's all I had to say. It's really tiresome. This also applies to season 4.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I can't wait to get to that part of the episode.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've been talking so much about like the you know, the things driving the plot, but just I don't like in terms of season 1, I don't really have anything else other like to say about the plot, because it's all the characters that make it work. So plot good.
Plot very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I honestly think like relationship and like social drama is like easily tiring in media. I feel like it's manageable in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you have like the weird love triangle thing going on, but like it's so like not the focus.
Mm-hmm.
And like what little there is, like actually I feel adds to the plot. You know, like none of that would happen if like Nancy wouldn't have found out about all that stuff if she hadn't gone to that party and Barb hadn't gotten abducted, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of those things where it's like yeah, it's kind of annoying, but also like it works because it like adds to the plot.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the case in later seasons though.
Yeah. To go off from what you're talking about, Alex, yeah, there's a good there's a good balance between characters driving the plot and coincidence.
Yeah.
Or circumstance, what is it? Divine intervention is not the thing. There are good, there's a good balance between the characters being active protagonists and passive protagonists and just letting the plot happen. It's fine. It's not ever so annoying, I think.
Well, I feel like they're as active as they can be in the situation that they're in.
Well, of course, yeah.
It's like, they don't know about other dimensions at this point.
Bless you.
So, what are they gonna do? Just somehow know that the upside down exists and march in and say, well, no, of course not. They have to wait for that stuff to be revealed, which takes a lot of effort on their part.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Barb going missing, I guess, is passive for Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
But it also, I don't know. I actually do want to talk about the Barb plot point because I think it's the one of the few things that I think is very weird about the first season is Will goes missing, Barb goes missing. Then there are two other random characters that are mentioned that have gone missing that are never brought up again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying that's a flaw or anything. I just think it's very interesting that you have two kids go missing, and then two adults go missing. No one ever talks about the adults again after they're mentioned the first time. It just feels like a throwaway line to be this is a bigger threat than it seems like. But yeah, and then they're just never mentioned again.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting, and maybe I'm just making a stretch here, but because there's so few, when you think about it, there's so few characters that actually get killed in Stranger Things, and the danger with having a child abducted, that's probably enough to probably sell the tension, because it's oh shit, that's it's not only just a kid, but it's also a main thing. It's also one of the main children. Right, there's a lot of real danger that doesn't have to be spoon fed to you, right? So,
yeah, I know. I just think it's funny that they added in that there's these two other people that went missing and they're just never brought up again. We don't even know if they were taken by the Demogorgon. It's kind of implied that they probably were, but it's never stated. I don't think they ever find their bodies or anything. They're just these two random people that went missing that no one ever mentions ever again.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I'll kind of save. I'll kind of go back to this when we talk about season 4, because that's more fresh in my mind than the other seasons. But I think before we move on to the other seasons, Gabe, is there something you wanted to talk about when it came to the plot of season 1?
Season 1? No. Let's move on to season 2.
All right, season 2, where we are. The only things that I remember from season 2 is Will struggling with Will struggling after escaping the Upside Down, and then the introduction of Billy and Max.
Max, aka the best character.
Max is wonderful, yeah.
Okay, I was trying to. Gabe and I were talking about this the other night when we were trying to remember what happened in season 2. So I actually did some remembering.
Please,
What?
No, because even thinking about it now, I was what happened in season 2?
Okay, so it starts off at the end of season 1, we see Will throw up a weird tadpole thing into the sink.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. Season 2 starts off with one of the dudes is my pumpkins are dead and I think my neighbor poisoned them. But then everyone else's crops also get poisoned. And then it turns out that there's a fucking tunnel network under the town that's like connected to the upside down. And then the tadpole thing, or something, or another tadpole thing that Will puked up, Dustin finds and he adopts it.
Oh yeah.
That I do remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it turns into a demodog. And then they also, like, stuff is going on at the lab. This is when Dr. Owens is introduced because he's doing like Will's appointments to like figure out why he's still having nightmares and stuff, because he's like still connected to the upside down and the why can't I remember what it's called? You know, the big bad dude in season 2.
Flayer?
The Mind Flayer, that's what it is. Yeah, because he's like attached to that and he's having like visions of it. Also, you find out that 11 is alive somehow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Listen, they do. This will come up when we talk about season 4 again, but they do kind of a bad job at like figuring out how characters survived when they probably shouldn't have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's one of the show's biggest weaknesses. Also, Joyce is dating Sam from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Bob, another character that I saw him and I was like, oh, I really like this guy. Dad.
He didn't die till like the last episode though, so you had longer with him.
Yeah,
I did.
and you know what? Like, can we talk about what's Sean Astin's character's name again? I completely forgot. Bob. See, I forget so much about season 2. Like, Bob is a wonderful character. He is very lovable, and eventually when he kind of like when he even plays more of a role in the story, like that's when you're like, for me at least, I was thinking like, oh fuck, I really hope nothing happens to him, because like obviously dating Joyce meant that he was going to be sucked into all of these, like into everything, but just the fact that he was just so caring and so loving and like very sweet, like in the first few episodes that you meet him, great, wonderful.
I also love how much Jonathan hates him at first.
Yeah. This was also the season where like Nancy and Jonathan were developing their relationship too.
Yeah, it sure was, which that's a choice.
Do you guys not like Nancy and Jonathan then, or just not in this season?
They're fine. I still just think like, because season 2 is so weak compared to the other ones.
Oh yeah.
So I think about season 1 where like their first interaction, or like one of their first interactions, is her finding out that he took a photo of her having sex with Steve. Multiple photos of it, actually. Which is just such a creepy thing to do. I mean, like, he apologizes for it, obviously. But, like, still, I don't know. They have a very interesting dynamic. I don't know. I don't feel strongly about them as a couple. They're there.
Fair enough. Let's talk about... So I think now that we're caught up with the plot of season 2, let's talk about Max and Billy.
I love Max. She's my favorite character. She's fucking great.
Yeah.
I hate Billy.
Yeah. Like, for who is supposed to be an asshole character, man, Billy was an asshole. Like,
he does like a really good job of like portraying his character, and especially in season 3, like there are scenes where like I feel for him and I'm like, man, your life sucks, dude. Like, no wonder you turned out like this. But like, I still don't like him. Like, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I love Billy and that's why I watch the show. But no, I don't like him. Every time he's on screen, I'm just like, I don't care.
Oh my god, same. Like, I remember now in the first few in seasons 2 and 3, I hated seeing Billy on screen, and that's credit to thing. That's credit to like the writing and his performance. Like you're supposed to. He's not supposed to be a good likable character, but the amount of sympathy that is, well, not sprinkled, but like it's paced evenly between all of that bullshittery. Very good. It makes him like a little bit more tolerable, I think. Like you can kind of see the role that he plays in Max's development, who is clearly like the focus between those two. And I mean, like Max herself is a fantastic character. She gets introduced really well and has a very like has been just like strongly written and strongly portrayed throughout throughout the series, because Sadie Sink is a wonderful actress. Like she has such a promising career.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Max like slowly like integrating herself into the core, like into the group, just feels very thing. It feels very natural. It feels very. It doesn't feel forced at all. Basically, like kind of reclusive. Starts warming up a little bit, and then by the end of the season, they're all good, awesome, wonderful.
Also, like it's stupid and annoying, but like, the way that I think Mike reacts to her, I think is like pretty realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's annoying, like I said, because after season 1, Mike goes downhill really fast as a character. But like, it's like one of those things where you're like, yeah, I can understand why he'd be so hesitant to let someone new into the group, especially, you know, when he's still missing this girl that he has a crush on for some reason, even though he's known her not a long time. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Kids can have stupid crushes on people with superpowers, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, it's just like, I think like as annoying as that plot line is, I do think it like makes sense. 11 being mad at Max, on the other hand, is so fucking stupid. I hate that part a lot.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. And I'll die on that hill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even think I remember that.
I don't
part
know.
of that story.
No, okay. So, because 11's plot this season is that she's like not allowed out of the house because Hopper's scared that like Dr. Owens or like someone else is going to like know about her and like take her back or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like this one part where she sneaks out of the house and she goes to the school to find Mike, and he's in the gym with Max and they're talking. And so instead of like talking to Mike like she had intended, she just like she makes Max fall off her skateboard and then storms off. And then like at the end of the season, when Max and Elle like meet for the first time, Max is like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you." And Elle just like gives her a death glare and walks past her, and it's so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is the point?
Mm-hmm. I can kind of see where it's coming from. I certainly won't try to defend it because I also kind of agree. Looking back, it's like, why? But
it's like
for
I don't feel like Elle has any reason to be jealous of Max.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, Elle didn't have like a regular upbringing. I don't feel like she'd have a reason to be like pitted against other girls like that.
I mean, true.
So it's just like she's just jealous of Max for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like she literally visited Mike like the night before using her mind powers and saw that he was like desperately like looking for her. And then she sees him with a girl once and like, what? Girl, what? What are you thinking? I know it's just like an excuse to like get her to leave so she can go on her stupid self-fulfillment quest.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
We'll get there in a bit. But like it's a dumb plot point, and I'm really glad that they let Max and Elle be friends in season 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh my god. So to kind of elaborate on that before we get to that plot point, the I don't know. I think like how I kind of saw it is just like Elle has never had that kind of friendship before with someone because, you know, obviously everything that was happening in the, you know, the research facility. So probably they were trying to hint at like, oh, maybe, you know, maybe Elle feels as if she's being, maybe she feels as if she's being, you know, or maybe she just doesn't feel as special compared to like when she sees like Mike with someone else. And that kind of jealousy maybe was just an unrealized feeling. But this is me just pulling a stretch. I also agree with you, is kind of stupid. So going off of that, the journey where she finds 8, I think it was 8, right?
I think she goes by the name Kali.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kali.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that episode. It's really bad. It's like, no, because like for the most part, Elle's been kind of a background character in season 2, which I just don't think the writers knew what to do with her. They're like, well, we have to bring her back because she was like the selling point of the first season, but they didn't really know what to do with her. So they're like, I don't know, journey of self-discovery. But the thing is, like, it's this season's biggest problem is the pacing.
Yeah.
Like, so the season opens with Kali and her like group of friends. And like you see her like use her mind powers or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then you don't see them again for like 6 episodes. And then I think it's like the 7th episode or something. And the season is like just Elle with this group, which comes after like a bunch of really big like reveals at the end of the previous episode. So like you have all this big stuff happening, and then we take a break to go hang out with these people that we've never seen before. Woo! That ultimately has no bearing on the plot at all.
Yeah.
Like we never hear about those characters again. Like sometimes people will be like, "Oh, 8, blah blah blah," but like, what did Elle learn on this journey? Literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so pointless, and it's at the worst part for it to be in the series.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my god.
That episode should have been spread out across the whole season.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, just thinking back on that moment, I'm like, okay, like wait, no, like 11 discovered what her real. Wait, was it then that 11 discovered what her real name was, or was it?
It was before that. It was after
Okay.
she left, after she saw Mike and Max together, she like storms off, goes back to Hopper's house, digs around in his stuff, and she finds like information about her birth mother. So she catches a ride to go to her aunt's house, meets her mother, who's like, you know, catatonic or whatever. Has like a conversation with her, finds out about 8, and then runs off to go find her. But yeah, she does find out like what her real name is, or her birth name is in that season. Which I don't mind the stuff with like her mom and her aunt. It's fine. It's there. It happens. Elle's plotline this season is bad. But like that's not the worst part of it.
What's the worst part of it then?
The episode where she hangs out with Kali.
Okay. I thought you were building up to something else. Never mind.
No.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying that like the mom aunt stuff, like her birth family stuff is not like, I don't have an issue with that. It's everything else in that plotline that I think is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, just is it like now that you've like reminded us basically of just the fact that all started at the beginning, like how would you like probably in the binging model you'd be able to keep up with it, but even then, like when you've moved on from the first episode all the way to the 7th, and suddenly now bring that up all over again, it's like, why introduce it? Yeah.
Yeah. Why introduce them there?
Yeah.
Especially because they have no like lasting, like, you're putting these random characters that we've never met as the opening to the season, and then they have no lasting impact on the season and the episode they're in. You could basically skip in your watch through and you wouldn't miss much.
Yeah. Yeah, because to expand, like, Elle doesn't really learn anything. Like, she just kind of...
There's like one scene where Collie's like, "Oh, this is how you use your powers." But that's it.
Yeah.
Also, we're gonna come back to this in a bit because I have thoughts about this episode as it pertains to season 4.
Yeah,
but
like she essentially just gets a power up and then continues on and learns almost nothing.
Yeah, and like it would have been so easy for her to learn that stuff a different way also.
Yeah.
I don't know. If they were gonna have Collie in this season, they should have actually done something with her. Because she's like a cool character, but like she does nothing and then she's never mentioned again.
Yeah. Like it's kind of it's kind of stupid, the whole thing of like, based on the relevance too, you kind of think, wait, why is suddenly Collie making Elle be like, hey, run away with us, live independently? And I'm like, like, if I had gotten to know you throughout the season, probably it would have been a little bit more effective. Because then you're like, okay, I kind of know who this character is. I know how their life is. Like, I can probably justify... Like, if they expanded more into, like, Collie's role in the story, in everything, then it would make... It would make you care more as a character, and it would kind of make that initial request for Elle being like, could she actually do it? But because it all happened in one episode,
it's absolutely a disservice to Collie as a character too, because we don't get to know about her well enough as a character to like actually care about her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as a result, that episode is just annoying.
Like, it sets up so much intrigue, because then you're like, because you only know of 11 as a telepath or telekinetic.
Yeah.
Is there a word for when you're both telepathic and telekinetic? Because technically Elle is both.
I wouldn't call her telepathic.
I mean, yeah, she can't really like read minds. But...
She does more like astral projecting.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's more how I would think of it.
So maybe we can just say telekinesis for now. So what 8 was at the time maybe the first real kind of look into everyone else in the series in terms of like, telekinetic powers, and not really that good of a use because you don't care for her as a character.
Well, she doesn't even have telekinetic powers though, Collie.
Yeah.
Which is what I want
powers in general.
To season 4. But yeah, she has psychic. We can just say psychic powers if you want.
Yeah, psychic powers. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Yeah,
anyway, season 2 is definitely the weakest of all of them.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's like for a season that gave us Max and Billy and more information about the Mind Flayer, doesn't really have a lot, does it?
It's so forgettable, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm missing a bunch of important plot points, but I honestly can't remember what they are. Like, the gate reopened and Elle had to close it. And like there were a bunch of there's a lot of stuff that I can't even remember that well because it's so forgettable as a season. Gabe, any thoughts?
Season two. No. it's that shit. That no, it's really really forgettable. I would like to talk about season 3, but season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Should we move on to season 3 then?
Yeah, let's move on to season 3. Big Mall.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
Capitalism is evil.
Yeah. Russia.
Also, Russia has been introduced as a
Mm-hmm. Which I don't know. Something about it's like, yeah, I get it. It's the 80s. You know.
Okay, but it's like it's funny because like when it came out, I was kind of like, I don't know how well this is gonna age.
Oh my god. Oh wow. Thanks, Alex.
I'm just saying.
Well, I know what I'm gonna clip for promo.
We were all thinking it.
Yeah, so what? Okay, so yeah, Big Mall, Russia, capitalism sucks. Robin. 11 and or thing, Ellen Max's friendship.
Finally.
Yeah.
Also, Ellen Mike's fucking relationship. Also, the complete character assassination of Mike.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god.
Boy.
Yeah. It also gives us Erica.
We love Erica.
Yeah.
Erica!
Yeah.
We love Erica.
Mm-hmm.
Best character.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that about a lot of characters, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good characters in this show.
Steve being a dad. Oh my god, we didn't really. I mean, for like Steve.
It started in season 2, but season 2 is forgettable, so we don't have to talk about it.
Steve, yeah. I don't know if this will be our main plot, like our main dive into season like 3, but Steve in season 3, wonderful.
He's great. I love his friendship with Dustin so much.
Oh my god,
it's so good.
Hilarious. Like that's the thing, in season 2 it's built up, but in season 3 it takes full effect and it's so enjoyable to watch.
It's so good, especially because like poor Dustin feels so ignored by all his friends.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, because Lucas and Max are dating, Mike and Elle are dating, and then none of them are dating, but like Mike and Lucas are trying to figure out how to get their girlfriends back, and Will's dealing with his friends' annoying bullshit and also, his trauma.
Mm-hmm.
God. This is the season where I start feeling really bad for Will, like all the time. Like, he goes through some shit in seasons 1 and 2, but then season 3 hits and you're just like, this boy deserves better.
Oh my god, yeah. I felt that way. Oh my god, seasons 3 and 4 is like, I'm just screaming in my head, give Noah Schnapp more.
He's such a good actor. Like, he portrays Will so fucking well, and he gets to do nothing with it.
Mm-hmm.
And give him a goddamn haircut, Duffer Brothers. What the hell? What the fuck?
Give him a better haircut, please, please.
Like, that's not what his hair looks like.
Fix his fucking hair. Why does it look so bad?
Like, it's still kind of fun if you think. I don't know. Like, I agree with you too, but also in my head, in my own personal headcanon, like the fact that like, Joyce is probably the one cutting their hair collectively. That's fun. That's a fun thing to think about.
She's absolutely doing it. I was having a conversation with a friend, and like, Joyce absolutely cuts Jonathan and Will's hair, and that's why they have the same haircut in the first season.
Yeah, and like in that way, it's kind of fun, but at the same time, it's like, why? Why do they look like this?
But also,
Joyce, please.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I don't know. Will's haircut doesn't look terrible in season 1. It's just a kid haircut. But like, Jesus Christ! By like season 3 and season 4, it's so.
Yeah.
My God, let this man live.
Mm-hmm. Like Joyce, you have to rescue Hopper. Let your son go to a barber at least.
Please.
Yeah.
Anyway. And
that's it to talk about Will.
Because he doesn't they don't let him do anything.
That they don't. And like how sad is it that that's the only thing we can talk about when it comes to Will in season 3. Like he supports and he's like, guys, I just want to play D&D.
Which
I've gone through some shit. I can't remember if it was in season 2 or if it was in season 3 where Will just had that one moment where he goes into the old playhouse, like into the old like shed that he was originally abducted from, and just completely destroys it.
I'm pretty sure that's in season 3.
Yeah, amazing. And I think back at that scene and I'm like, why the fuck are you not giving Noah Schnapp more to do if this is the performance that he is giving? Because like
he's so fucking good. He's so good at like those emotional moments.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to bring up I can't wait to bring up one of my biggest gripes with season 4.
His stupid crush on Mike. Yeah.
I mean that, but also just, we'll get there when we get there.
When we get there.
Yeah, but just
boy needs better taste in men. That's all I'm saying.
I know, yeah.
Anyway.
You're the heart of this motherfucker.
Anyway, what else happens in season 3?
The awesome Resident Evil monster flesh creatures.
I hate that thing. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I love it so much. It's so fucking gross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's horrible. Fucking squelching sounds, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So good. It's like it mushes around as it moves. It's so fucking. I love it.
Yeah, that's season 3 was a good turning point for like the horror aspect for the show, and especially in season 4. But again, we'll get there when we get there. But just like
the rats explode into like gelatin.
Yeah. Oh, that's so disgusting.
It's
horrible.
Yeah, and I think more like a better look into the Upside Down, and especially the Mind Flayer. Like seeing the Mind Flayer's true scale. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Mind Flayer itself is a very like it is such a wonderful thing. It's such a wonderful like, how do I say this? Like, because Stranger Things is very based on like a lot of like nostalgic kind of 80s programming, like a big bad wanting to rule over the world. Awesome. Simply great. And like the army of like demo creatures. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool monster. I hate it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think going from the monsters and the Mind Flayer, we should talk about Billy.
Oh, Billy. See, I actually feel bad for Billy in season 3, like I said.
Yeah.
But I also still hate him.
Yeah.
But like, okay, that scene when the kids like lock him in the steam room.
Mm-hmm.
And he just like loses his shit and like starts like breaking stuff. Like, sir.
Yeah. Like, I'm glad that I'll get to one of my biggest like criticisms of Billy's character in a second, but just first the positives. They have given Billy a lot more to do in season 3, and that really makes him, it doesn't make him any more enjoyable because he's still very much an asshole, even possessed, but the fact now that there is like a greater evil kind of like makes you feel for him a little bit more, which is, what we've already said. And
yeah, I think they do a really good job pulling off like, hey, you can feel bad for assholes too.
Yeah. And not completely, but it's a good attempt what they did, because like by the end of it, when
feel bad for him when during his death scene.
Well, no, I like at that point eventually I'm like, oh shit, he's really just not having a good time. Like, it's a thing. Like when you eventually kind of realize like the shit that he's been through and all of the family history that he has, and like the relationship with Max, and eventually by the ends he redeems himself, which is good, because like for such a strong presence and a very asshole, like a very big asshole of a character, like the way that he goes out, good. Good send off.
Which is also good because they relied on his death so much for season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Billy was a thing. Billy was like a much stronger character this season.
Yeah, no, he was definitely well written. Though I will say, the fact that he's like 17 and you have all these like middle-aged women like.
Oh my god! Can we please talk about that?
That shit is so funny.
Why? It was so fucking awkward. Because I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And
it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, just have teenage girls lust after him. It's fine, I promise.
Yeah. And the whole thing, like the fact that just made it even more uncomfortable was the fact that it, like, what? There was just this weird tension with him and like Mike and Nancy's mom. And I'm like, why? This is going nowhere.
Yeah, no, weird. Very weird choice.
Yeah, like you could have literally done anything else to kind of get like the Mind Flayer to possess Billy. Which eventually the whole point of like, oh okay, I'm gonna like Billy's gonna crash near the abandoned facility where the Mind Flayer is, because he was supposed to meet like
Karen,
Mike and Nancy. Yeah, Karen, yeah. I was like, could you not have done something else?
Could they not have done literally anything else?
Yeah, like
why this plot point?
Yeah, like if they wanted him to be like a reckless idiot, which everyone already knew that he was, you could have just had him like, just be driving out one time completely recklessly.
We literally see him like racing around in his car all the time. Like it's not hard to imagine him just being like, "Oh yeah, I want to go for a drive to like burn off some energy or whatever," and just like speeds too much down the road.
Yeah,
like same thing happens. He crashes.
Yeah, just was that not like the first immediate pitch that should have happened? Like, was that not something in the writer's room that people were like, yeah, this makes more sense, let's go with this instead? But no, he's just hitting on like older women, and I'm like, well, he's not hitting on older, like he is, like older women are fawning over him, and I'm like, dude, this is so fucking weird.
It's so weird.
Like, I think it's maybe the most like downright unnecessary things that like happened in season 3, and season 3 is a strong season.
Yeah,
like
that was a choice that was made. Mm-hmm. According to the wiki, he was actually 18 in season 3, but that still doesn't make it better. In my high school, yeah.
God.
Anyway, we can talk about other stuff now. I just had to mention that.
Yeah. I wanted to like just say it and get it over with, but no, the fact that we talked about it for so long.
Anyway, let's talk about the mall. Let's talk about the
mall.
Yeah. Mall's great. I like that.
Robin, the best character.
Yeah. The mall was a good introduction into just how I guess like visually and like physically bigger the stakes are getting for Stranger Things. Like obviously moving into the mid 80s now. Like, yeah, this is the kind of shit that you would expect, and everyone trying to like live their lives as normal. Okay, wonderful. Natural progression there. And just like, yeah, like the introduction of Robin and and we can talk more about Robin later, but just like, yeah, introducing Robin, like Steve's like definite, like not personality change, but just like his growth as a character. like how the main four plus, like how the main four and like 11 and Max are reacting to it, especially Max, who again has a very strong character, but an even stronger character in season 4. But again, we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, I think the mall was like a good centerpiece for the entire season because a lot of stuff happened in that mall.
It's good, and it's like good stuff and bad stuff happened there. Like you like kind of start off with like, you have Max and 11 like going shopping together. You see like the boys sneaking into a movie together. You have like you introduce like, I guess not introduced because Erica was technically introduced in season 2, but like you have like Erica introduced as like a more important character. You see her like hanging out with her friends. I fucking love the scene where Max and 11 are going shopping, and then like Mike and Lucas and also poor Will, who was dragged along, are also going shopping, and they keep just like narrowly missing each other. But then Erica's also there.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite ways of that specific kind of scenario happening, because that's not something that's happened. Like that's not a new original thing, but
No,
Stranger
not at
Things.
all.
Yeah, Stranger Things does it so well because it's still very active. Like the plot is still progressing.
Yeah, but it's also like, it's like the nice kind of like social interaction for the show. Like, yeah, it's fueled by annoying relationship drama, but like you also have like this friendship between Max and 11, and you have the boys like, trying really hard to get something nice for 11, but they don't have any money because they're like 14.
Mm-hmm.
It's so like light stakes and like chill, and it's really nice like break before you get into all the really dark stuff in like the later season, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is another thing that, like the early seasons the early part of season 3 is very well paced. Like despite being a little bit lighter stakes, as you said, like everyone having fun, everyone enjoying, like, the mall kind of being like the centerpiece for everybody, and everything slowly uncovering from there is paced really well. Because
I actually think the light tone is like a benefit. Like I feel like we need that. Especially if you, like I did, were watching like all the seasons back to back, and like season 2 ends really darkly, and then you're just like, oh, mall shopping, but it doesn't feel like tone with much. It's just like, oh yeah, like the characters are getting back to their normal life, and they're having fun, and they're doing fun stuff, and it's a lot better than watching Elle and Mike make out for 10 minutes. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen, that opening scene is so uncomfortable to watch.
Oh yeah. And like, just, we get it. You can stop. Which I think they kind of understood in season 4, but talk about that at some other point. But yeah, the early part of season 3 is like really nice. The early part of season 3 is really strong character building, I'll say that.
Yeah, which I think is necessary.
Yeah.
Any opening thoughts, Gabe?
It's been so long since I've like watched or even thought of season 3.
Robin's
Robin's
excellent. Talk about Robin.
Let's go to Robin.
Let's just talk about Robin. Robin and Steve are pretty much all I remember from what I remember from that season. The Saw guys, the mayor, Resident Evil stuff, Robin and Steve. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot about the mayor plot point too. We'll get back to
yeah,
that.
I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, no, Robin is great. I love her like dynamic with Steve is like so good, like right off the bat. Like you can tell they already have like an established dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like so used to putting up with his friends that are like these like younger kids, and she's just like, what's up with this guy? He's not who I thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. And then like immediately she gets to show how like smart she is, which is so unexpected. And just the way their like friendship develops over the course of the season, so good.
I was really worried she was gonna die. I'm not gonna
Oh
lie.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they always do that. They introduce a new character and then kill them off.
Oh, I
Stop.
wonder where that's familiar with.
And they did do that this season. It just wasn't with Robin.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was with like a bunch of like the side characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nancy's boss.
And Alexi.
Right, Alexi.
Yeah, Alexi.
Alexi, we love Alexi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! That actually reminds me. You know what I fucking loved about season 3 was like
Murray?
the Russian Terminator guy.
Oh.
Of course
Wait.
you did. That doesn't surprise me.
I
remember him.
the guy who's just like he's just doesn't say shit, but he's always like he's just doing shit. He's like in a fucking leather jacket, and he's just like
he's just like stalking through crowds with like guns trying to shoot.
It was so cool. I love that guy. That guy was awesome.
I love that scene at the fair where they have like the fun house and Hopper's like running through it with like the assassins chasing him.
Yeah.
That scene's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess we have to talk about the Russians.
I thought it would be corny as hell when they were first introduced, but nope, it worked really well.
It actually worked surprisingly well.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense because, you know, there's this like really weird stuff going on in Hawkins, and then like you can see especially like an enemy of America wanting to like harness that power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They had no fucking clue what they were getting into. But like, you know, the hubris of man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just I don't know, something about like going into that a little bit. Yeah, just like historically, you would think, okay, it's the 80s. There's like a lot of like, well, I mean, there's always been a very strong like, you know, the Red Scare throughout like the late 1900s, and
today.
Well, yeah, and today for reasons. Just I don't know, it just naturally kind of it doesn't ever really like become like the big presence there. Like that's what I really enjoy about season 3. There's so many big things that have been introduced in this one season that play really, really well with themselves. Like you have Russia's influence, you have the big mall, but there's also still the danger of the mind flayer, and all of these, like all of the key characters in there trying to like, you know, share the spotlight. Everything just paces itself pretty well, actually.
I also think like I don't know, they probably didn't plan it from season 1 because I don't know if they knew if they were getting more seasons after season 1. But like there are like things that kind of hint to that throughout like the whole show. Like I remember there just being like offhanded comments throughout season 1 and season 2 where like, oh, the Russians have a super weapon or like that kind of stuff, you know. And you kind of just like brush it off because you're just like 80s America, Cold War, anti-communism stuff, whatever. But then they actually like took it seriously. Which was kind of fun and unexpected.
Yeah. That's what I really enjoy about Stranger Things. And just the fact that the seasons themselves, especially season 1, was very self-contained. And the fact that they didn't know if they were going to like get another season or not. Like when season 1 started and ended, it was a very conclusive story. But the fact that later seasons continue to just pull off of themselves while still being very self-contained is excellent. I wish they maintained that. But anyway, like, yeah.
Well, yeah, I feel like season 1, and honestly even season 2, despite its many flaws, would be considered self-contained. Season 3, I feel like builds off pretty directly what happened in season 2,
and then like builds into season 4 in a big way.
Season
Mhm.
4 builds off all the seasons really well, except season 2, actually. So it builds off season 1 and 3 really well. I felt like it just kind of ignored everything that happened in season 2. I don't know if that was just me.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Mm-hmm. For all
What
those
else?
who are for all those who just skipped all the way to season 4 of the pod, or to season 4 of this episode because it's relevant right now. Well, that's awkward.
But yeah, what else do we want to talk about in season 3? What else is good in season 3? Well, we have like Nancy's and Jonathan's whole plot line.
Yeah, which is nice. It's a better thing. It's a better like development for those two, I feel, because the way that they kind of started and the way that they progressed initially was kind of awkward, but them being together, having more time to like really flesh out the chemistry, it worked out a lot better for them.
Yeah, this is also the season that has like the really, really good scene between Karen and Nancy. Like when Nancy like is like frustrated because she feels like she can't do anything and she's not able to get anywhere, and like she's constantly being put down, and her mom like sits her down and they have a chat, and she's like, yeah, life is hard. And like it's like one of those things where it's like, like it's a very feminist scene, but it doesn't feel forced, which I really like. Like it feels like really genuine. Like I feel like a lot of times when shows try to do that kind of thing, they're just like, wow, fuck the patriarchy, ha ha, hashtag feminism. And it didn't feel like that in Stranger Things. Like it just genuinely felt like a mom giving her daughter advice about how hard it is to make it in the world, I always like when I was rewatching that scene, I was like, this is genuinely really good. She's so sweet. She's trying her best. She's not a perfect mom, but she's trying her best.
Yeah, just Nancy, I think. How much was Nancy's like influence in the story on season 2 compared to season 3? Because like definitely Nancy had a much stronger role, like actually, and going off from what was brought up earlier, like now that Nancy is really embracing her role as a reporter and kind of trying to make it, like as a very determined, very headstrong character, it works so well in her favor. And like she just becomes like a stronger presence every season, which is fantastic.
Yeah. What did she do in season 2? She was trying to find a way to let Barb's parents know that Barb was dead and not missing. That's what she did.
And she
Is
went
that
to
it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't
Basically,
think she did
yeah.
anything.
Like
Oh my God.
she felt bad about it, so her and Jonathan tracked down Marie, and then they like set up a whole thing to like basically let people know that like they set up a thing where the people at the lab were basically accused of like having like a chemical something or other that accidentally killed Barb, and then they tried to cover it up.
Right.
That's what they did. She was clever and smart in season 2, but season 2 is just such a forgettable season that it's hard to remember.
Oh yeah, right. Just like as you were saying there, Alex, Murray was introduced in season 2. Murray's a fun static character. Excellent.
Yeah, he's very fun. And then he like gets like a bigger and bigger role. Well, he gets a bigger role in season 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do think the whole like secret Russian base under the mall is a very fun plot point. And like when you have kids, like accidentally sneak down there and then they have to like escape.
Yeah. Robin and Steve getting drugged basically and tortured was insane.
That
was an insane scene because I was thinking like, holy shit, they're in some serious trouble. How the hell are they gonna get out of this?
Yeah, the fact that, I mean, that's one of those scenes where you kind of have to like suspend your disbelief a little bit, because you're like, is there really any way that these like 4 kids would be able to take on the Russian military? So like,
I mean, if history is proving anything, Russia's military is not great.
fair enough, but like still,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I don't know. It's a fun sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely needs a suspension of disbelief though.
Mm-hmm. Which when you say fun, Alex, like that really kind of just describes season 3 in a nutshell for me personally. Like it's fun. Like
it is, yeah.
Yeah, like there's obviously a lot more suspense and like the pacing and like the real tension and horror that come with that's associated with Stranger Things is still very much present, but like because of the mall, because of like more like the characters, it's just a lot more fun. So yeah, you have to just you have to just suspend your disbelief a little bit, but it's not a thing. It's not like a chore, it's something fun.
Yeah. Also, like, Max taking 11 shopping and 11 like figuring out her own style of clothing that she wants to wear. I think that like really adds to it because you have like 11 in this like completely different style of clothing than before, which is very 80s. But like I think that like having Elle like look that specific way really adds to like the atmosphere of like it's a fun season.
Yeah, just I think what is it like despite it being a fun season 2, like it's still very like character heavy and very character focused. Like Hopper gets a lot more depth, Joyce gets a lot more depth, especially because those two are very intertwined now, or like are starting to become more intertwined with their relationship. Like it's clear that the interest between each other is there, and like they're still like Winona Ryder and David Harbour are still such strong actors that they can make pretty much anything work. Like I saw a post a long time ago that like David Harbour is just giving his all so much that it's basically like seamless at this point, and I fully agree. He is such a fantastic actor.
Yeah, no, the two of them do like really, really good together, and they bounce off each other so well. I will say, even though I did not like their plot much in season 4, I was happy when they, finally kissed.
Oh yeah, same.
Should we use this as a transition into season 4?
We might as well. I don't really know what else to talk about when it comes to season 3.
I mean, Gabe, unless you have any last thoughts.
No.
Cool.
All right.
Season 4. Hopper's survival.
Don't worry about spoilers.
Hopper's survival is so fucking unbelievable.
Oh,
that is funny.
Okay, so
this is where I want to start off with this. Okay, at the end of season 3, when Joyce destroys the thing that the Russians are using to open the gate, we see like 3 grown men literally evaporate just being in the same room as this thing as it's being destroyed. When the show shows how Hopper survived being in the room with that thing exploding, you know what the best thing they were able to come up with is? He hops off the staircase and is fine. It's like a fucking graded platform. He just like goes down a level, and I'm supposed to like he had no injuries. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's not even any kind of permanent damage either.
He had like no new injuries after that.
Yeah, the only like later in the season when there are the scars on his back, that came from the torture from the Russians. It didn't come from any kind of like potential radiation damage that came from the fucking giant explosion in the one room.
Like, they couldn't have even tried to come up with a better explanation.
Yeah.
Like, suspension of disbelief is one thing, okay? This is fucking whole new level.
Oh my god. It honestly, like, the whole prison escape,
Yeah, do we just want to start talking about this plot? Because I think it's, like, the least relevant to everything else going on somehow.
Honestly, yeah. It's it's maybe one of my least favorite side arcs that they had in the story, and that's saying something considering the other one that I'm going to mention, but just it's definitely it really much it very much challenges the thoughts that I have about like Hopper and Joyce, because what happened to their character? Like Hopper has always been like a very like strong badass character, but not ever to the level where he can get his fucking like ankle brace off while hitting his leg.
No, God, no.
Yeah.
I could not watch that scene. I literally had to like fast forward through it because I couldn't watch it.
Yeah. And here's the thing though, like that aside, like that kind of grossness aside, if the show is selling you multiple times that like, oh, this could like break your ankle, you could really get seriously hurt by this, and he's just completely fine, like he's running out of the prison completely okay.
Yeah, that had like no lasting consequences, did it?
Yeah, like way to make like an enjoyable character fucking Superman. and God, not in a good way.
And then fucking Joyce and Murray like flying to Alaska and then Russia somehow to like break him out of the prison.
Yeah.
What was the like?
Yeah, like,
I get that they had to do something with Hopper because they didn't want him to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
But really,
like it was
you're just gonna take like your two main characters from the first season. If we ignore Mike for a minute, you're gonna take like the two main characters from the first season, and I guess Mike. This also applies to Mike, but in a different way. But you're gonna take the two main characters of the first season and just completely remove them from the main plot. Like they have no idea what's going on for the whole season. Like Joyce leaves in like the first episode, the second episode.
Yeah, which.
And then we don't like, and then she doesn't interact with anyone else on the show except for Murray and Yuri and Hopper and what's his fucking name?
Enzo, the corrupt guard.
What's his actual name?
Antonov, yeah.
Those are like the only other people we see her interacting with for like the whole season until the end of the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like Joyce's character is that she's the mom, you know, like her character is so defined by like her caring about her children, and obviously she doesn't think anything's gonna happen to them, and you know what happens is completely out of her control, but it still feels weird for her to like abandon them to go rescue Hopper from a Russian prison.
Yeah, like I wouldn't necessarily call it a character assassination yet, but just the complete motivation.
It's a choice. It was a choice.
The complete 180 that happened with and like as you think, it was a complete 180 because like you, I associated Joyce with being like a very strong like mother character. And remember in season 2 when she couldn't leave Will alone for like more than 10 minutes. Yeah, like
remember when she was like hiding outside the school during the school dance because he didn't want her to be inside, but she couldn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that's not healthy by any means. But like I don't know, she's just so attached to her kids, and like especially because I think Will was like pretty visibly upset when Mike showed up. In not LA, they don't live in LA, in California. Also, can we talk about why the fuck they moved to California?
They were relocated, right?
Yeah, but California?
I don't know. They need to have. Yeah.
Anyway, that's not important. I just thought that was a weird choice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you know, Will was like pretty visibly upset, like the whole time Mike was there. And she just doesn't notice and is just like, bye, I'm going to Alaska.
Yeah, like, why? It's, oh my God. I'll give credit, like, it's, like, the fact that we got to meet, like, Antonov and Yuri, okay, that's one thing, but at the same time, like, it's still that it doesn't make up for the fact that that whole side arc was completely irrelevant to how Hopper and Joyce are as characters, because you're right, like why would she suddenly just agree to leave her children alone, considering knowing what one of them has been through? Like, why would you no?
Well, and then the thing is, she wasn't even just leaving her children alone, like not just Will and Jonathan. She was also leaving Elle.
Yeah.
And also Mike, who's like her kid's like friend who's visiting from the other side of the country. She's just gonna like not watch over him. I'm sure his mom really appreciates that.
See if they play off of that.
In the 80s, so like kids are more independent anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, like when I saw that, like, okay, Mike's flying to okay, Mike is gonna fly all the way out to like California. Okay, is Nancy gonna go there? And then I find out she's not, and I'm like, what the fuck? How old is Mike? How is he able to just fly to a whole other state across, like how is he able to do that?
Actually, how old is he?
Well, they just started high school, I think, so it's like...
So they should be like 15-ish,
15,
right?
yeah. 15, 16.
Where is Mike? Mike, there you are. How old are you? 14, seasons 3 and 4. He's 14.
14?
They're 14.
No, I can't believe that.
It's just because Finn Wolfhard looks like 30 now, but like
mm-hmm.
That's very funny. I'm supposed to believe this guy's 14. That's hilarious. Anyway, should we talk about that plot point next?
Yes. I think are we just getting a lot of the criticisms out of the way first?
Mike is a terrible character in season 4.
Okay, go off, Alex.
I'm just gonna say it. He sucks. And because whenever he does something, he's annoying, but then the rest of the time he just doesn't do anything. So he's either doing nothing or he's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
God. And poor Will. Poor Will this season.
Okay, I'll let you air your thoughts, Alex, and then I'll jump off from there, because I want to say something.
Will deserves way better.
Oh yeah.
He I know they couldn't really justify having him with the main crew, but he was so wasted on this stupid side plot where he's just sad that his best friend's in love with his sister instead of him.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the scene where him and Mike are talking in the car and he gives him the painting and then he turns and he just starts sobbing and I'm like, boy. Okay,
I hate that scene for that reason specifically, but also the fact that and this is something that I've voiced with Mari, and she will tell you herself that I was angry about this when it first happened. Why was that the first scene back in Volume 2 when that could have easily been in the final episode of Volume 1? Because they had nothing in that final episode of Volume 1. Nothing.
Well, I think that was the point, though. They wanted to focus on, the reveal, you know?
Uh-huh. I mean, fair, but...
I don't know why they had to split it into 2 volumes in the first place. They could have just released all the episodes at once.
Yeah.
They also didn't need to make the episodes so fucking long. I'm just gonna say it. They didn't need to be that long.
Well, do you want to know why? I have an idea, and we can kind of expand more on this. Did you hear the rumors that season 4 was apparently going to be the end? The final season completely?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be, and then then after the second volume dropped, one of my friends watched it immediately and then was like, now to wait for season 5, and I was like, season 5? What?
That makes me feel like the season, like the ending was rewritten.
You think so?
Because here's the thing, and it was due in part to like what actually happened and how everything turned out, and like some of the rumors that I've heard building up to this. Like when did season 5? Like when was season 5 renewed? Like shortly after volume 1 was released, right? I'm thinking, and because it was so recent, it makes me feel like they didn't necessarily they doesn't necessarily rewrite like the first episode of volume 2, but they definitely rewrote the last one, because everything in the if you know, like, for everyone who knows anything about screenwriting, if basically people are bringing up like, oh, I had this dreams and this dreams and this dreams, and like focusing so much solely on these characters, someone was gonna die. A lot of people I heard in the run-up was going to die. And the fact that it ended up ending the way that it did, and everything just feels like everything is clearly setting up for a future season, makes me feel like they rewrote it.
Based on what I read, it sounds like season 5 was confirmed in February. So I don't know. I do agree that like the last 2 episodes of season 5 were very weird, but we also had like the official run date, like run times of all the episodes before volume 1 even dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe that's just my own kind of like weird conspiracy theory about it, but it just doesn't feel complete. And we can kind of talk more about like the initial aspects of like everything that is making me like think everything that leads up to the ending. But I guess while we were talking about
about the stoner road trip,
about the stoner road trip, what do you think of Argyle, Alex?
I think he's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And if he hadn't been there, the three guys on the road trip together would have been absolutely insufferable.
Oh yeah.
Like it was already bad enough, but like Argyle made it less bad.
Yeah. Gabe, what do you think about What did you think about like that aspect of the story, or at least like what you know of it?
I haven't seen season 4.
But do you know about Argyle?
I know about his actor.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I know that guy. I've seen him in like other stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He plays the same character from what I know. I don't really know anything else about him as a character or his role. I just know he's in it. He's a stoner in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's his character. Yeah, that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Argyle is a fun character. Some people from what I know were calling him annoying, but like Mari and I really enjoyed him. I didn't start enjoying him by the end of the season because it was the fact that he was just repeating my dudes a lot, which again kind of makes me feel personally as if they rewrote it, because they were seeing like, okay, like it's clear that our stoner character is the stoner character amongst everyone else. How do we make him even more a stoner character? And I think going off of the reactions of that, and this is again maybe just my own kind of like weird conspiracy theory, but like it's somehow like with Argyle, there was still plenty of like conversation, like there was still plenty of like intrigue and like genuine character with him, despite being the stoner character. But
was there?
Well, it's because with him it was like, Jonathan, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like I'm the stoner character, like I'm trying to help you out and shit. And like his reactions were funny, and like the thing that he had with
Susie's sister.
With Susie's. Yeah.
That was really funny. That was hilarious scene.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And like giving him moments like that is fun, but then in the final part he was just like, okay, we're gonna go to this other Surfer Boy pizza. And then just like,
okay, yeah, that felt very convenient.
Yeah, like I get that it was probably telegraphed, like it was foreshadowed in the beginning because he was like, oh, there's another Surfer Boy pizza here in the area, and I'm like, okay, but at the same time too, just I don't know, like once that stoner road trip actually begins,
It's so boring. It's so uninteresting.
boring.
Can we talk about how Jonathan also literally did nothing this season?
He did fuck all.
What did he do? He like said some comforting words to Will once and complained about his relationship with Nancy a few times. And like that's literally it. That's all he did in 9 episodes. Remember when Jonathan used to be a character?
Yeah.
And like,
God.
You know, like, again, Noah Schnapp was not given much to work with, but he like acted his heart out in his few scenes that he actually had to do stuff. Mike is just a bad character in this season.
Which is such a shame.
Let's talk about 11.
Is this still criticism?
Done talking about Mike. Mike doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
We'll talk about his stupid scene when we get to like the finale discussion. 11. Okay. The first episode, it's so cringy.
Yeah.
It's so cringy. Just like, girl, I know you don't like understand social cues or anything. But like, no, but like that's not even true because like Mike told her about bullies and like she saw bullies like bullying Mike in season 1. And now we're just supposed to believe that she's trying to be friends with the people that like actively hate her in her school. Come on.
Which
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, in the early parts too, now that I'm thinking about it, because it was 11 who was like, oh, friends don't lie.
Yeah.
So then as
she lied so much.
Yeah, why? Why is she doing this? Like starting off with you know, with like grade school bullies is again some very rank horse shit, but just I think the payoff for everything kind of just makes everything a little bit more interesting because like without her powers, like Elle still clocks that one. What's that girl's even who's that girl even called? Like what's her name even?
I don't care. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Yeah. So generic school bully thing, generic school bully number 1. So Elle clocks her with a roller skate, which is fucked. And I thought genuinely, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's supposed to feel kind of satisfactory because it's a school bully. We all hate school bullies. And then from there, it's like, holy shit, there are people like coming at her door now trying to face all of that. But at the same time, and maybe this, again, me just looking into things too much, but like, is she not getting like, she was arrested.
She was, okay, no, actually, can we talk about this? Because I think the implications of this are fucking hilarious. So, Elle is this girl, sorry, I guess she goes by Jane at the school.
Yeah.
She's like this like weird kid who like moves to the school like halfway through the school year or whatever. Gets picked on a lot. Everyone makes fun of her. Then over spring break, she hits a girl over the head with a roller skate. Gets arrested. Shortly afterwards, her house is shot up, and her entire family goes missing. And then they just don't return to California. like
why?
Can you imagine being like the kids at her school?
Yeah, like just I'm glad that they don't focus on that aspect because 1, it would be really distracting, and 2, there's so much to think about.
It's literally hilarious.
Yeah, like there's clearly bigger things going on here. Like you're not supposed to think about it too much, but when you really think about it, man, that family goes through some shit in California.
Yeah, I'm just like, their fucking house getting shot up and the whole family disappearing. Along with like the local stoner kid, right, who works at the pizza shop.
Yeah.
And they just vanish. Anyway, but then Elle goes to Nina and gets her powers back. And you find out that Brenner's still alive somehow.
Like, didn't he get fucking, like... Didn't he evaporate in season 1? No, he got shot.
I don't remember how he, quote-unquote, died in season 1, but, like...
But he was clearly dead.
It was, like, I feel like they did set up that he might not be dead. Like, there were times when, like, Owens hinted at that. But yeah, he, find out that Brenner's alive. He's even worse than before. And now this is the part where I want to bring back in the discussion about that one episode in season 2. Because in season 4, we find out a lot more about, like, the other kids that had powers like Elle. And they don't make any sense. Like, okay, season 1, we meet Elle. She has, like, a fairly established set of powers, right?
Right.
She's telekinetic. She can move things with her mind. She can, like, astral project out into stuff. She can open portals to the upside down. Those are her powers. In season 2, we meet Kali, number 8. Her powers are that she can create illusions. That's it. Those are, like, her only powers. Like, she doesn't seem to be able to astral project. She doesn't have telekinetic abilities. As far as we know, she doesn't know anything about the Upside Down. Like, those are her only powers. Then in season 4, we meet the rest of the kids. And they all seem to have, like, telekinetic powers. Or, like, they seem to be expected to. Because they have a scene where they're, like, trying to throw each other out of the ring, right?
Yeah.
So why do all the other kids have telekinetic powers, but not number 8? And then it's a genuine question.
I don't have a genuine answer. I don't know.
And then it's like, I guess through number 1, it is implied that, like, Elle in particular has, like, extra special powers. And, like, we do see some of the other kids, like the kid that the season opens on. I don't remember which kid it is. But, like, you know, when Brenner's running the, like, experiment with him, he's, like, listening
10,
into people. Number 10?
I think number 10.
Maybe, I don't remember. But he's, like, he seems to be doing, like, a telepathic thing where he's, like, you know, seeing through Brenner's eyes and, like, listening to things in, like, a different room or whatever. So he seems to have some form of, like, telepathy. And then number 1 just seems to be very strong telekinetically, and that seems to be, like, his main thing, at least until he goes to the Upside Down. So it's just, like, the way the powers work, I just have so many questions now. You know?
Yeah.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, when you kind of explain it like that, there's just some inconsistencies when it comes to that aspect of Stranger Things' canon. Just, like, you can kind of, like, you know, like, wave your hand at, you know, some kids having telekinetic powers or telepathic or psychic powers, basically. But when one of them clearly doesn't have that and is only specifying in, like, telepathy versus telekinesis, but then all the other kids are showing, like, promising levels of telekinesis, like, do you just become, like, is it just one or the other, or?
Yeah, I feel it's just like the powers are not well established. And then, of course, in season 4, Elle magically develops more powers, because why not? With, like, no warning. I mean, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, that's Elle's plot this season. And then she ends up back with the Stoner Bros. Also, Brenner dies. His death scene pissed me off, by the way. Like, I was happy he was dying, but why did they milk it so hard? Like, they're just like, look, he's dying. Isn't that sad? Ooh, we're gonna linger on his body for 5 minutes. Ooh, he's dying.
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest problems with season 4, is I felt like there were so many scenes that were just drawn out for no reason. And that was one of them.
Everything that had to do with Jason, I think, was long and drawn out. Can we please talk about that? That was stupid.
Are we talking about Jason next? I feel like we can't talk about Jason without talking about Eddie and Chrissy, though.
Oh, Eddie's fantastic. Chrissy deserved better. Jason's
Chrissy
awful.
deserved so much better. I was so heartbroken when she died.
Yeah.
And her death is so fucking brutal. That's another scene that I think is drawn out way too much.
Yeah. Like, I get it, body horror, but at the same time, very uncharacteristic body horror, because I'm thinking, like, holy shit!
It's a really fucked up scene. Also, I think this is a good point to bring up the thing that Marie-Soleil wanted to talk about as well, because this is where so I already thought that, like, the Chrissy wake up stuff went on way too long in the show. Like, I was just like, dude, it's not working. Shut up. Like, at a certain point, it just gets annoying instead of, like, heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was turned into a song and is now a TikTok trend, guys, that scene is fucking horrifying. What are you doing? Guys. TikTok, I have so many questions.
Oh, I do too. For one thing, TikTok, push our videos. You bitches, there's so much work that we put into these episodes. Come on. Anyway. Yeah, no, that's messed up. And I get it, like, I kind of knew from a mile away that this was going to be a meme, but the fact that, yeah, the song is just weird.
Have you seen videos of it?
I haven't. Like, surprisingly, my For You page is very, it just has, like, a bunch of Valorant content on there now, unsurprisingly. But,
of course.
Yeah. But the few Stranger Things, like, memes that I've seen have just been like, oh, Chrissy, wake up, I don't like this, and that's it. Like no kind of, like, song or no any kind of, like, editing towards it. It's just straight from this show. But I mean, yeah,
that's already kind of weird.
A little bit. Like, again, you can kind of see that it's going to be a meme because it's, but at the same time, in context of the show, like, that's a horrifying thing that's happening to, like, a character with a very tragic story.
Yeah, like a brand new character and, like, a teenage girl.
Yeah, like, what? Like, a thing, like, Chrissy has, like, had a lot of intrigue, and, like, the obvious connection between, like, and again, I hate the character of Jason, but just, like, Jason, Chrissy, and Eddie, that could have been its own thing that probably wouldn't have factored into, like, the overall story too much, or at least it would have, like, eventually integrated. But just the way that it eventually did integrate with Chrissy's death was fucked. Like, yeah, it really, like, you didn't have to be so severe when it came, like, personally, kind of looking back, like, the shit that happened and the things that Vecna does to the 4 victims, holy fuck.
It's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. Also, yeah, like, Chrissy reminded me of, like, one of my favorite characters from Sex Education as well. Just like Amy, if you've watched that show. They just had, like, very similar energy. And so, like, I immediately, like, latched onto her when she was introduced because she's such an interesting character. And then they just, like, it's also one of those things where, like, you've got to be really careful when you're balancing the deaths of extremely traumatized people. Because it's just like they've already suffered enough. Why do you have to do this to them too?
Yeah. And like I get it, maybe when on that point, the characters that died, wow. Man, they really they were really traumatized. So it kind of just brings your point up, Alex, a little bit more on the nose. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Really? Like these they're side characters, but still, like, at some point, even if a side character dies and they had no real relevance to the plot anyway, the way that they go out is fucked. Like, Gabe, have you seen that? Like, have you seen, like, what happens to these characters in season 4? Like, was that told to you?
Like, crunched.
Yeah.
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 Horrific.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eddie, great character. Immediately fascinating. Like, he's such a weird dude when you meet him.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately, like, all this shit goes down and you're just like, wow, this dude's just, like, fucked.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh my god. It's going back to what we were, like, going back to the earlier discussion of, like, character deaths and, like, how this could have been, like, the final season. It sucks that Eddie died, but it sucks so much knowing that he is the only one that died.
Well, Brenner died too.
But, like, characters that matter.
Fair enough.
Like, it's depressing as hell because, like, he is. Like, Go ahead.
No, finish your point. I'll say after.
I was just gonna say, like, as a strong, like, he came off, like, really strong, and I initially thought that, like, he was a little bit too much, but then as everything started to happen, and especially once there was, like, the connection with Chrissy, I was like, oh, there's something interesting here. Like, there's a nice parallel between, like, popularity and, like, passion, I guess. I meant, like, what I mean by, like, nerdy shit. And when, like, how, like, given how close Eddie was to Chrissy's death, it's like, there's something so interesting here, and the fact that he, like, ran away, like, he was genuinely a really interesting character.
Yeah, so I do think his character made sense, or his character dying made sense.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks, but, like, I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah.
Like, it was heartbreaking, but it felt like it served the story. Mm-hmm. And then, okay, that scene at the end where Dustin, like, finds his uncle and, like, is like, oh, I was with Eddie when the earthquake hit, and here's his necklace, and it was like, like, telling him all this stuff that Eddie had done. Mm-hmm. That scene had me, like, so close to tears. Like, that was such a good scene.
Yeah,
that was really well acted on, like, both parts. Yeah, mm-hmm. that scene was heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, Eddie was a delight this season. Like,
he was great.
As a dungeon master too, runs a really good campaign, must say.
Yeah. It's the dream DM.
Yeah. I'll also give points to Erica here for the season. Like, fantastic reintroduction for Erica, just absolutely fucking dominating the D&D game. That whole sequence too, by the way, of, like,
it was so good.
Yeah.
That was, like, the only good part of episode 1. Not gonna lie. Like, you have like the basketball game like mirroring the D&D game.
Yeah.
And like the like double victory of like the Sinclair siblings, and you're just like, hell yeah, Erica. Yeah. I support you.
Yeah, Lucas. Stop talking with these guys.
Okay, but yeah, let's talk about Jason.
Stupid. Completely irrelevant. Cause an entire town to panic because he's just an idiot. Okay, done.
Okay, but like they set him up as like an antagonist so well. Like when he first comes out, like the pep rally, and he's just like, "We're gonna win this game for all the people in our town that died," and you're just like, "Dude, do you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Do you hear yourself?"
Yeah, where's that mustache that you should be twirling right now as you speak this this very horrendous monologue?
God, yeah, no, they set him up really well.
Yeah.
I
His
don't know.
death was thing.
His death was great.
Yeah. Oh
it
yeah.
it was horrifying.
Eh.
He was ripped in half. What do you mean, eh?
I don't like him, dude.
So
like his
he's still a teenage boy.
Okay, fair.
His death was horrifying.
I'm okay. Yeah, fine. Still, yeah, I still don't like him, and I'm glad
You
that
don't
he's
have
gone.
to. I'm not asking you to like
No,
him.
I
I'm
know,
just
I know,
saying.
but yeah, you're right. Getting ripped in half by another dimensional void. Not great.
He also just added really good tension to that one scene. You know, like when he came in, when Lucas was watching Max and they like got in that fight.
Yeah.
I was ready to strangle him myself.
Oh my god. I was like the fact that I'll give him credit I'll give like the actor credit too. Like the fact that he just looked crazier as the hunt for Eddie kind of continued throughout. Very well done on the actor's part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like he was clearly becoming manic, and like the echoing, like the scene where he spoke to the scene where he spoke to the town, and that kind of like echoing what happened in the first episode where he was speaking to the pep rally. Like it's so clear, like the transformation of him, like his transformation as a character was so clear, and yet it was so well done no matter what.
Yeah. Can we also take a moment to appreciate how fucking incompetent the cops are in the town without Hopper? They're so bad. They do nothing.
Yeah, they're awful. They're like, yeah, let's have the kids thing. Let's have the kids like stay in this one spot, the house, where they can clearly just move around it as any of it just or as the plot continues. I'm like, guys,
they're so incompetent. That was well done.
Like, could they not? Very funny. Yeah, could they? Like, I get it, but just, God, they were useless.
They're so useless.
Yeah.
But
even on the like thing. Sorry, just quick thing, but just like the whole like when Jason spoke to, like to the town too, the cop, like the fact that the cops had like no power over that at that point.
They're just like, I guess we'll let this happen.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, don't do
remember
this.
There's a curfew.
Yeah. It's like it like talk about like literally just finger wagging at the whole situation, like, ooh, this is bad, don't do this. Oh my god. Yeah. Stupid.
But yeah, shall we talk about Buddy Boy, what's his name? Fred?
Have I already forgotten Fred?
He was the second kid that died.
Oh. What kid?
Yeah, the guy that had like a weird obsession with Nancy.
Yeah, he was kind of an asshole in the beginning, and then when his trauma started bringing up, he's like, "Oh," then he died. That was.
I didn't feel as bad for him as I did for Chrissy.
No.
But yeah, no. He. But we have to. When we bring this up, we have to bring up Nancy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Nancy's plot this season, and the fact that she bonded with Robin, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the scene where they like break into the what was it, the hospital?
Yeah.
Prison place. Yeah, that was so fun. Like, I love that she like dressed Robin up in like fancy clothes, and then Robin just like completely improv'd this monologue about how women can't get anywhere in the psychology field.
Oh my god, yeah,
amazing.
The monologue was fantastic.
Robin's a top tier character.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wait. While we're talking about Nancy, Robin, and Steve, Nancy and Steve, thoughts?
I don't hate it.
I do.
It feels weird because it feels like they're rehashing old stuff, but like I kind of don't hate it, especially just because I feel like Nancy and Jonathan have like not been in a good place. I don't know.
Right.
I don't hate it. I understand why people do, and I'm like it is valid, but I'm not against it.
Mm-hmm. And kind of likewise on that argument, then, like I see why people are like I see why some people are like, oh, this could be interesting, but for me personally, it feels like, why are they going back to a relationship that defined both of their characters in the first place? Don't make much sense to me. Like, I get it, they're different people, they've grown and they've changed and stuff, but like they had to leave each other to figure that out. So why are they now going back? Why?
I feel like that happens in life, though.
I mean, yeah, but just
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just because Maybe it's just because like they again, and it's just my own kind of personal attachment to the characters, and probably the same thing with Mari too, because she agrees with me. Just the fact that like Steve and Nancy have grown so much differently when they were first introduced compared to like how they are now. Like, I don't know. It feels just a little bit weird.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Like they could do something really interesting with it, or they could just like completely destroy it in season 5. But as it stands, I don't hate it, and I'm kind of intrigued to see where it goes. There's a lot of interesting shipping that's coming out of season 4, though.
If we're
like
gonna go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, a lot of people ship Robin and Nancy, which like I kind of understand, and then a lot of people also ship Steve and Eddie, which I understand a little bit less.
No.
You also in on that, or no?
I don't know. I can see them being friends. That's it.
Yeah, I mean Eddie was like queer coded for sure.
Oh yeah.
And like I'm not opposed to bi Steve because I think that it fits him very well. And also representation, hell yeah. But like
oh my god, speaking of representation, I have no matter of speaking on this because, you know, like I definitely feel like I have no matter in speaking on this, but like Robin's arc with what's her name?
Vicky.
Vicky, yeah. It feels very familiar and not in a good way because like Vicky, so Robin is a queer character who likes another character of the same thing, of the same gender, and we don't know if said character, in this case Vicky, is also queer. Okay, very familiar conflict, makes sense considering it's the 80s, so it's not really spoken of that much. And then somehow throughout all of volume 1, it's not focused on as much. It's still hinted on a little bit, but like eventually you kind of realize like, oh, okay, it's kind of whatever. Like, you know, Robin will move on after literally saving the world again. But then Vicky gets brought back in volume 2 with a boyfriend to add.
She then breaks up with like immediately.
Yeah, after the whole like the whole bullshit too of like, oh, it's because my boyfriend broke up with me because like, oh, the town is fucked.
She broke up with him.
Yeah,
because he didn't want to stay to help the town.
Yeah. So I'm like, again, I probably have no right to speak on this if this is like good writing or not, but just why?
I don't think it was bad writing. It was just, I don't know. It existed.
Yeah.
It was very funny though, because like the scene where they're like in the hunting store, and like Vicky is with her boyfriend, and then at one point she like looks up and turns to the camera to like look at Robin, and I was like, hold on, I had to like pause the show because I realized I recognized the actress
who played Vicky. Who played Vicky?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's her name? Amy Beth McNulty. She played Anne in Anne with an E.
Did she really?
Yeah. So like I was like watching her like make it with this guy and then look up at Robin and I was like, hold on, Anne? Anne Shirley? Is that you?
It's amazing.
And then I couldn't stop thinking of her as that way for the rest of the show.
Oh my god. Oh man, if we're talking quickly about like recognizing other or like the actors outside of it, like it surprises me knowing that like the people in Stranger Things like do shit like outside of it, because like there was this one of my favorite content creators at the time played with Finn Wolfhard in Fortnite. I'm like, what the fuck, that's kind of cool. But this surprised me because when I was scrolling on my For You page one day, I saw that this girl looks very much like Chrissy from Stranger Things, and then and she was playing Valorant 2 of all things. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. Like this looks weird. Like she's probably, you know, the same, like a very similar lookalike. But no, that's the actual. I think, what's her name? Grace Van Dyne or something.
Yeah. Actually, I recognize her name.
Yeah, Grace Van Dyne. She streams like pretty regularly, and she's played with offline TV. Amazing.
Damn.
Yeah, she streams Valorant. And like on her For You page too, like it's her Valorant streams, but it's also like, you know, just playing off the fact that like, yeah, Chrissy was treated unfairly or something, like really playing into the fact that like Chrissy is like a very beloved and underrated character, underdeveloped character. She was not treated right.
She deserved better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do we want to? I'm like trying to figure out how to get into like the main. Should we just talk about like the main crew and the people who actually did stuff this season?
Yeah, let's do it.
Dustin, I love you.
Yeah.
Dustin is the best of the four boys, like hands down.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's fantastic. He has been since season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And he continued
all
to
of
carry.
the kids die in the next season except for Will and Dustin, that'll be fine.
I mean, I'd love for Max to become undead.
Yeah.
But
We'll talk about
I'm
that
still
scene
mad
later.
about that. We'll get there.
Yeah.
If Mike dies next season, I won't lose any sleep.
No, I thought he was gonna die this season.
No
I
hate
feel
to
like
Timothy
if they hadn't
Chalamet.
shipped him off to California, he would have. Wait, Gabe, what?
I said no hate to Timothy Chalamet.
But yeah, no, I feel like if they hadn't shipped Mike off to California this season, he probably would have.
Yeah, he would
I'm
play.
just like,
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just like, what is he contributing to this show anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait.
Yeah. I feel like Finn Wolfhard is always like a fantastic actor, but Mike has outgrown the show.
I feel
Plain
like Mike
simple.
hasn't. I don't feel like Mike has outgrown the show. I feel like it's the other way around.
The show has outgrown Mike.
Or I feel like they just don't know what to do with him anymore, so he's just become a terrible character.
Yeah. And it's not even like it's not even like what Dustin was always been like the static character between the three of them, or between the four, and he's always just been fantastic. And they've given Dustin like little bits in between, but never anything.
Yeah, he's never had like a big character arc or anything, but like I don't feel like he needs to.
Yeah. Like when you have a good static character, you don't have to ever give them like deep, meaningful arcs. If they're a fun character, they're a fun character.
Yeah, Lucas had an arc this season.
Sort of. I'd say he had a pretty strong arc, actually. Well, strong, quote unquote, until it eventually it started off strongly in one aspect, and then it went in kind of another one.
It's like I mean, the classic struggle of being a teenager and like, you know, struggling to like want to be cool and hanging out with your friends who maybe aren't cool. Like, I feel like that's an interesting internal struggle. I feel like they do that a lot in this show. Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, it has its interesting stuff. The whole thing with, like, the basketball team and, like, when they start hunting for Eddie and he just kind of goes along with it, you're really just like, dude, really?
Yeah. I mean,
Dude, really?
I will say this. I'm glad that it didn't go as long as it, I'm glad it didn't go any longer than...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard other people say the same thing. Like, if they had dragged it out more, it would have been unbearable, but they managed to balance it pretty nicely.
Yeah. And I mean, there's probably more of it. Like, there's probably some kind of argument out there that, if they had drawn it out, then it would have made, like, given a lot of really cool tension for the group. Like, no one needs to listen to those arguments.
I did like his whole arc with Max, though. I thought they did a good job of him, like, he's desperately trying to, like, get to her, and she shuts him out, but then they, like, slowly work things out throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
And they fucking killed her off for some reason.
Did they, though?
She died, Dean. She literally died. What do you mean?
She's
They brought her back because they decided to give Elle new resurrection powers for some reason that literally came out of nowhere, but, like, she still died.
I mean,
and it kind of heavily implied that, like, when Elle brought her back, it didn't go right.
Yeah, because there's nothing in her memory. Oh my god.
She's dead.
Okay, yeah, Max is dead. Oh, fuck, Max is dead.
I love that we didn't even talk about the third death at all.
Who cares?
That basketball dude who died in the lake. I don't even remember what his name was.
No. Which is also really sad when you think about it, because, like, that could have been really interesting for a thing. That could have been really interesting for, like, Jason's development had he brought it up.
Patrick, that's his name.
Patrick, yeah. Like, if Patrick's death was probably weighing on Jason, then, okay, yeah, that'd be interesting.
I mean, okay, because, like, if you think about it, like, seeing that in person would be absolutely traumatized. Like, his friend, like, disappears under the water and then starts floating and then has all his bones cracked and
his eyes,
like,
popped out, yeah.
Literally nightmare material. And we barely see it affect him, except that he starts accusing Eddie of, like, witchcraft.
Yeah, which, I mean, is, like, a natural thing. Like, you would kind of assume, like, that hatred and anger would kind of grow. But the fact that he's still so nonchalant sometimes, unbearable. Which just makes him like even more of, like, an insufferable character, because there could have been some real thing. Like, you kind of okay, yeah, his initial driving force was Chrissy dying, fine. But Patrick was there the entire time.
Patrick seemed to be, like, one of his closest friends.
Yeah, along with that one asshole thing, along with that one asshole kid with, like, the baseball cap. Complete, like, yes man there. But, like, it's the fact that, like, the entire basketball team didn't really mean much. Like, okay, they're meant to be popular, and this thing that Lucas is trying to, try to be. But then when he eventually comes out of it, there's just nothing really sticking with them anymore. Like, Patrick's death isn't weighing on any of them at all.
Yeah. And, like, you think it would be, like, your fucking teammate that you, like, see every day at high school is now dead. Like, that's traumatizing. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Like, how could, like, it kind of still plays a part, because, again, Jason is still thinking about Chrissy, but that's only one other person. Like, Nancy, I think, almost completely forgets about Fred.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, and
like, yeah, I feel like the other kids' deaths, like, Chrissy has a bit of an impact because it kind of throws everyone into a panic, and it's like Jason and Eddie's, like, driving motivation throughout this season.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, Fred and Patrick, like, they die, and then like, the characters that witness it kind of have like one little thing based on it, but then they just like forget about those characters and they're like never mentioned again.
Stupid. It's so stupid. Like, like had they acknowledged it too, it would have been a very good building of stakes. Because then it's like, oh shit, things are getting much worse.
Yeah, that was definitely another problem with the season is like the kids' deaths. I mean, like they affect Max a lot.
Yeah. And given that she is given like, oh my god, like we have to acknowledge the obvious here. Like Max, standout of season 4.
Absolutely.
We've already said that like throughout, but just I don't know who decided to let Sadie Sink just like take the ball and run with it this season, but like that was a decision well made, because not only does it have like some of the strongest like character performances out there on top of like Noah Schnapp's, but just the fucking graveyard scene where she is like openly confessing like her, like where she was like, you know, admitting like her feelings to like, you know, Billy's like headstone, and then just like the facial expressions as Vecna's like possessing her and like everything in the upside down, like that running up that hill scene is iconic.
That scene is so good.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's easily one of the best scenes in the whole season.
I'd say in the whole
it's
series.
Not the best. Yeah.
Because like it blends so much of like, you know, that like 80s nostalgia and love and like just the character development, like the presence that is one and Vecna. It's insane. It works. It all works so well, and the tension too. With I hate to kind of saying it like this, but like having all of the memories kind of flash up as like as Max is close to near death, but that's the thing that kind of like saves her. Super anime moment, and I really enjoyed that.
It was very, that scene was very good. I'm like, I know she's not gonna die now, but like I still like even watching that scene, it was the tension. Like you could feel it. You're like, is she gonna make it? Is she gonna make it? Is she gonna? And then she does, and you're just like, ah!
Yeah, the cut to black was a good.
I fucking thought they were gonna end the episode.
Yeah, no, I was like, there's no fucking way, and then she just opens her eyes. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was stressful.
Yeah. I see sometimes too in like comments when people are like, when there's like different versions of running up that hill, people are like analyzing it as if like, you know, on like Max's grief and all that, and just how significant the scene was in terms of like this kind of representation, this kind of like, you know, analysis and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's what a good scene should do.
Yeah, I actually do think that like her other mental battle with Vecna was also pretty good. Like when she's like at the ball and like Elle's like trying to go through her memories to find her, and then their like reunion is really sweet. Yeah, I did like it's obviously not on the same level, but I think that scene was also really, Sadie Sink delivered.
Yeah.
I'm still mad.
God. Just
Okay, but now I think we're at the point where we can talk about that part.
Yeah, the finale.
Fucking Mike's speech. Okay, no. I was laughing so much during this scene. It was so bad because like you're watching this really intense battle. But then, like, there's the part where, like, Vecna pins Max against the wall and like, says a bunch of stuff. And then it says, close your eyes. And I was like, okay, good line. And then he goes, it'll all be over soon. And I was like, no! What is this, a Marvel movie? God, there were so many bad one-liners in the final episode.
Gabe, how familiar are you with, like, the fuckery that happened in the final episode?
None.
None?
Haven't seen it.
Okay.
I still haven't watched it.
Like, so, like, a lot of it is, like, a mental battle. You got Elle, who's in Max's mind, and Vecna's also in Max's mind. So they're basically, like, battling in Max's mind in the Upside Down. And then Ella's like in the bathtub in the like, what is it called? Suspension tank? That's not right.
Sensory deprivation tank.
Sensory deprivation.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gabe. She's in like a sensory deprivation tank with Stoner Gang. And that's just what they're called now, okay?
I'm not saying otherwise.
And like Mike is like giving her this big speech throughout the final battle, going like, "You can do it, Al. I believe you're a superhero and you can do anything."
Oh,
it's
God.
so bad. It's so bad.
Again, I would like to raise suspicion that potentially this final episode was rewritten. Because there's no way that I can stomach any of that happening.
It was so bad.
Like, I get it. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be sweet, and it's supposed to be this really, like, you know, literal anime power-up moment, but just... Oh!
And he just keeps going like, I love you, you can do it, I believe in you. It's like, dude, shut up. You don't need you. You don't need to be here for this. This isn't about you.
Like, exactly, just it makes me feel so much worse for Will too, because he's just sitting there, like
no, because it's so much worse for Will, because these are like his words of love to Mike, and Mike is repeating them to his girlfriend.
I want justice for Will.
Justice for Will to K22.
Yeah, just it is such a crime. We're kind of just going back to like how unfairly like Noah Schnapp's been treated, but really though, like he's such a fantastic actor. He literally is like one of the best parts of the main four, aside from Dustin, and like. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to get.
Are the best kids in the cast. Like,
yeah,
like, God, yeah, Noah Schnapp really, he deserves so much better. He's such a good actor, and he's not given anything to work with.
No, and like his like thing, like whenever you kind of like see like Millie Bobby Brown and like everyone gives in like amazing performances. But it's specifically like what Noah Schnapp and like Sadie Sink that are just stealing the show all the time.
Absolutely. Like,
right?
like as annoying as like the scene where he like gives the speech to Mike is, like he delivers it so well.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, because it's so funny because he's like giving Mike this like heartfelt speech, and Mike's just like, oh yeah.
I don't know if it's again, I don't know if it's just because he's been like written really weirdly, or if it's actually something that Finn Wolfhard was doing, but it feels like Finn Wolfhard was just phoning in the role.
Yeah, no, it's so bad because you have Noah Schnapp like giving it his all, and then Mike's just sitting there like,
yeah,
really? Wow.
I think I can do this. I think I can do this, Will.
Thanks, buddy. And then like ignores him as he's like sobbing his heart out beside him.
Which is some actual bullshit. Like, oh my God.
Remember in season 1 and season 2 when Mike would have done anything for Will, when he was like actively driving the force to try the plot to try and find Will? Remember that? Remember when they were friends?
Yeah. Oh my God. It pains me so much. Anyway, we kind of went off track for the because yes, we were talking about the final episode. Yeah.
Hey, that earthquake, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I can't believe they actually destroyed the town.
Yeah. You gotta have some intrigue for season 5, I guess, but like.
I mean, Vecna not dying isn't enough.
You would think. Like, it seems very I don't. What is it like? Again, it makes me feel like after discovering 2, and I'm so hard stuck on this because I feel like I'm really determined in it, but just it really feels as if they just rewrote the entire final episode, because everything that was giving, like everything that led to like Vecna's reveal as like him being one, and how the entire Upside Down kind of came to be in the first place, it all felt kind of natural that he would just die in the end. But because there is a season 5,
we didn't even talk about that reveal though. Can we talk about that reveal? When I was watching it, I hated the 11 plot so much. Like, I was just like, I don't care about this. I don't want to see Dr. Brenner. And like my one friend that had like convinced me to watch it was like, no, it's worth it. Trust me. And then I got to like that episode where you find out, and like you have like, 11 like reliving her memories, and then you have like Nancy who's being like taken over by Vecna, and you have this like intertwining story of like all these pieces like falling into place, and you're like, oh fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That was so well done.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was another really good scene in the season.
Mm-hmm. Like that whole sequence too was a really good way to end off volume 1 and like kind of start volume 2, I guess, because like you don't really ever kind of expect that. Like I'm surprised that like Nancy was the one chosen to kind of, carry the foreboding message about the end of the world, basically. And
I think it fit her.
Yeah. And given like that's basically like a means for an exposition too, like her life was still very much at risk, so the plot was still continuing, which is really good. Like they definitely understand that, like, the show must go on and stuff, but like, oh my god, like Jamie Campbell Bower, fantastic.
Yeah, he really delivered
good
on that.
Yeah, like the cold calculating presence that like one is, both as Vecna and as Henry.
Yeah.
Insanely good, like really, really good.
He did, yeah. I mean, based on like the things that I've seen him in before, I would never have guessed he was that good of an actor. But he pulled it off
would
really
think.
Well.
I can't wait to speak of a certain other role that he's going to be in later in this season.
Yeah, no, that was a really well done reveal.
Mm-hmm. Vecna was a good villain.
Like, yeah, it was good. It was like a good reveal because like a lot of the pieces were there, like from the beginning, like because you have that opening scene at the beginning of the season where you have all those like dead children,
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like Elle obviously having done something. And you don't know quite what it was yet. And then but we've seen Elle kill people with her powers before.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens to Chrissy is like way fucking more intense than that. But like it's there, it's one of those things where, as stupid as they are when like the government agents are like, oh, it must be that girl that's doing the murders, like looking back on it, you're kind of like, wait, yeah, that makes sense for them to think that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, like, as soon as Buddy Boy is mentioned, what's his name? I remember every character's names really well. Can you tell?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're doing fantastic.
What's his name? Victor, I was right. With Victor, like when he's first brought up as like the guy that like murdered his family by doing the same thing, you kind of like immediately I was just like, huh, I bet this guy also didn't kill his family. And then like you go and you find out that like, his wife and daughter died this way, and then his son was in a coma, and then died a little bit later. And you're like obviously there's something suspicious about it,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's just subtle enough that you don't really think about it. But again, the precedent is there because that's what happened to Elle too.
Mm-hmm.
Like like she was like her mother was told that she was like stillborn or whatever.
Yeah.
But she was just like abducted. Like they like faked her death and abducted her, and the same thing happened to Henry. And then like, you know, when he is working as working at the place as the, what is the word that they use? He's not a nurse. You know what I'm referring to?
I do. I just can't put a name to it right now either.
But yeah, he when he's like talking to 11, he like mentions 1. Like, you know, it's there for you to like be like, how does this guy know so much about this? So like it's a really well done reveal because all the pieces are there, and then they add up in like the perfect reveal, and you're like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was genuinely like really shocked when it was revealed that way, because you kind of think like it's really good that they were able to really convince you in the beginning that it was Victor who was, you know, the man who murdered his family. Like that would make sense. Like that would like really kind of like initially pitch the villain, but then when that's kind of debunked, it's like, well, who the fuck is it? And there's just more mystery, there's just more intrigue there, and then like the fact that like he was there the entire time in plain sight was really well done.
Yeah, no, that kind of reveal is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get why they ended volume 1 on there at that point, because like if you're gonna split it into 2 parts, like where else are you gonna end it? But also ending it there made the rest of the last 2 episodes a real letdown. Just gonna say.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. What is it? Like everything about those final 2 episodes of like those 2 episodes of volume 2, I'm like, I don't know. Like I didn't mind volume, like the first episode of volume 1 specifically, because then like, you know, everyone's meeting each other again. Like you have character development, like Hopper and Joyce finally kiss and all that shit. But it was significantly like, you know, it was all eventually kind of building towards that final episode,
Which was way too long, by the way.
Oh my god. Yeah.
2.5 hours is too long for a television episode. I'm just gonna say it. It's too long. That episode could have been 45 minutes.
Given what happened, yeah, it really could have been. Just
Or like if you're that determined to fit all that, like everything that happened into it, at least split it into 2 episodes. It doesn't need to be a 9-episode season. You can do 10 episodes. You make the rules. You're the writers.
Exactly.
You can do what you want, I promise.
Like, unless there's some kind of significance with the number 9 now, then... Because I feel like it was my sibling who pointed this out. So, like, their friend pointed out to them, who then pointed it out to me, that there was always been a significance with the number 4 in Stranger Things. Like, the 4 bell chimes, the 4 main the 4 main boys, and then likely some other like pretty interesting points of significance there, but just
I'm like, that's literally 2 points.
Yeah, like I don't know, where else do you kind of go from there?
I don't feel like there's a significance with the number 4. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
Oh well, then yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is something, but just maybe there isn't. And
I feel like they were just trying to like stick with the same number of episodes they'd done in previous seasons, because first season was 8 episodes, second season was 9 episodes, third season was 8 episodes, fourth season is 9 episodes. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's why. Like they didn't want to go more than they had previously. I still think they should have.
Yeah.
2.5 hours is too long. It could have been split into 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Also, if they had cut out a lot of the like extraneous and like over milked scenes from the entire season. They probably could have cut off a good hour
Yeah.
in total.
Yeah.
There was way too much going on sometimes. Like so many scenes where I was just like, okay, end it already. You're just dragging this out for no reason.
Yeah. In particular, did we really need that one scene where Jason just made the entire town panic? Because what really good does that do? Because
literally, okay, no, when one of my friends like watched season 4 when it first dropped, they were like, oh, you're gonna love what they did with the satanic panic stuff this season. And I was like, okay. And then I watched it and I'm like, it's like it didn't need to be there. Like it didn't really add anything.
yeah, like it kind of just acknowledges the fact that during this time there was a satanic panic. Look at us doing our research, and then that's it. Nothing else.
Yeah, like the scene where like the parents of the boys, like the Sinclair parents and Karen and her husband and Dustin's mom, like get together and they're like, oh no, our children are involved in a satanic cult. Oh no, like did that scene really need to happen?
Exactly. Like, I don't know. You had to give the parents something to do, I guess, but did they really? Given what you gave them, did you really need to do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's season 4, I think.
Yeah, that's season 4. Surprisingly, I don't think there really is that much else to mention, actually.
I feel like we complained about it more than we praised it. Season 4 is not that bad. It just has some annoying stuff in it.
Uh-huh. Like
overall, it's still a good show.
Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, so I know that Mari was going to like participate in this episode, but since she is still asleep, I'm instead going to go to her Instagram and read off the criticisms that she had. Because she made a post about it and went into detail about thing. And I'm gonna read it verbatim from her comments. So from Mari's words. Okay, so they did Will so unbelievably dirty, or so motherfucking dirty this season, like unbelievably dirty. He was a main character in the first 2 seasons and now he suddenly doesn't matter. And why the fuck there was no confirmation of him being gay? I'm pissed. Him and Jonathan could have had a really sweet and sincere moment together about it, but no. Anything? Yeah. Any kind of opinion on that?
I didn't feel like they needed to confirm it. I feel like I mean, like it would have been nice, but I feel like it'd be really hard to do it in like a way that felt like accurate to the time and not weird. Like he's gay. It's been hinted at from season 1 onwards.
Yeah. And like
he was done really dirty.
Yeah, like I agree with like Mari and I agree on that. Like like the confirmation of him being gay would have been nice, but in that aspect, like I can kind of understand that the show is like, it's the 80s, you don't really need to, you don't, it's so obvious sometimes that you don't even need to say it out loud, but the confirmation would have been nice. But anyway, I will continue reading her points. Stancy, so Steve and Nancy, really, after everything, no, Steve deserves another partner. There were no good, so I'm just going to read off everything. There were no good moments with Robin and Vicky until the very end, and that's just stupid. There could have been more. Eddie dying for no reason was just bad writing. He died for absolutely no reason. All characters were so badly written this season. I'm disappointed.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, just Eddie didn't really need to go.
He didn't.
No.
I still don't hate his death, but it could have been done better.
Of course, like
he just got like swarmed by the bats, and then that was his.
Yeah, like it's like I'm not gonna run away from
Okay, actually, no, this does bother me because like there's the scene where him and Dustin are like going back through the gate, and Eddie just like doesn't go back through the gate for some reason.
Yeah, he's like, Wait, I'm running
Why?
away. I don't want to do
Why?
that. Away. I don't want to do
Why?
that.
Like, what was, dude? You're not gonna be able to do anything in there.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point?
I don't know.
Okay, I think I didn't mind him dying because I thought like the emotional beats that followed it were like really well done. But I will agree
Yeah.
that him dying actually was kind of pointless, and yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can still have those emotional beats, and it would mean a lot more if his death didn't mean if he didn't die the way that he did.
Yeah, if he had died better, because Dustin was all like, "Oh, he fought till the end," but like, what was he fighting?
Yeah. He had like some kind of like fighting stance and was like fighting off some of the bats, but they were also the bats.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, his death could have been better.
Yeah. So, yep. That's pretty much it on my end. Yeah. Don't really have anything else to kind of critique or, bring up about season 4. Because, yeah, you're right. Like, we kind of complained a little bit more than we did with praising it. And, like, season 4 was, like, I say pretty good. Like, when it could be, like, when it wanted to be really good, when it wanted to be, like, when it wanted to have, like, strong character moments, and when it wanted to have, like, these really cool, like, action scenes, pretty cool. Like, the characters that were introduced this season, like Antonov and Yuri, they were there fine. Okay.
I have one more complaint.
Okay, go ahead.
Fucking Hopper fighting the Demodog in the prison. That fight did not need to be in slow motion.
Oh no, absolutely not.
God, this show loves to overuse its slow motion. That was one of my biggest complaints with season 2 too. I was like, why is there so much slow motion in this? This doesn't need to be here. It doesn't add anything. But that aside, the fight scenes were good.
Yeah. Oh, I have to critique that fight scene a little bit more too, because like Hopper, who has fought a Demogorgon before, is the only one who knows how to kill it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense because he's gone in there with the experience, and I guess that makes sense, but like he was practically fucking invincible. Like both when he was first escaping that, like when he was being used as bait, and when like especially when the Demodog was on him, like the fact that like his mouth, like he was holding the mouth shut and it took forever for that mouth to open again. I'm like, guys, I get it. David Harbour's amazing, but like, come on.
I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like really like Hopper, and I really like Hopper too. But like his plot this season was bad. It didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Also, this is like not relevant to the actual show, but like, did you hear what they did with the place where they filmed those scenes?
Oh no, I heard about this yesterday, but like no one else will have heard it until now.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, this Russia prison scenes in Stranger Things season 4 were filmed at an actual former Nazi prison in Lithuania, and it has now been turned into a fun, quirky Stranger Things themed hotel. Can I just say, I think that's disgusting, and y'all should apologize. Because, yeah, that's horrifying.
That's pretty fucking bad, yeah. Oh my god.
But let's talk about lighter things. I just wanted to mention that because I know it's been going around and I don't want it to seem like we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We know about it. We don't approve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so... I mean, is there anything really else to mention about the season? Like, we covered pretty much all of it. Like, complaints or not, we talked about everything.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some really, really good moments, and some really, really bad moments. Mm-hmm. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a pretty... Again, like, the criticisms that I have of the season, like, doesn't completely destroy my enjoyment of the season. Like, there were some moments where I really had to suspend my disbelief, but overall I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will probably watch season 5.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's always a chance that I won't, you know. If I have to boycott Stranger Things, I will.
Okay. Yeah.
Just making that clear.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think then we can maybe start wrapping up. Gabe, is there anything you wanted to mention about like Stranger Things overall before we start wrapping up, or?
No.
You've just been here vibing for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Season 4.
It's worth it. Like, it is good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, it definitely is, like, you know, criticisms aside, like, it's not going to completely kill your entertainment of it, especially if you're thing. Like, if you enjoy the characters and you... And I'm saying this for pretty much everyone, but, like, if you enjoy these characters, then, you know, you'll have a good time. If you enjoy... if you really like Will's character, I'm sorry.
If you really like Mike, get better taste. Get well soon.
And if
I'm
you...
joking.
No, you're bad.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
If you like Mike, get well soon.
Yeah.
That includes you, Will. And Elle, actually.
Yeah. If you enjoy Max, you know where it's at. You appreciate the good writing in the show.
But also brace yourself, because I'm still mad about her dying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still mad about it. I don't think it needed to happen.
It's Patreon exclusive video. Alex is just ranting about the death for 10 straight minutes.
It didn't need to happen.
I can let you just go off about it for like as long as you want.
I don't have anything else to say about it. Like, I don't have like a good reason for it not having to happen. I just like when it happened, I was literally just like, no, I'm done. I considered like stopping the episode because I was so mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even like a like I'm mad about this, so it's like good writing kind of death. I was just mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was so unhappy about that. And then like the thing was, I'm glad that Elle brought her back, but also, why does she have resurrection powers now? It doesn't make sense. You'll need to like define what her powers can do and like fucking stick to it. Like, there was no build up to this. It just happened out of nowhere. What is going on?
I think now I'm kind of fully convinced that like the more she's gonna get 11 powers by the end of the series. Just you watch. This is what, power number 5.
Actually, if we pull up her wiki page, let's like check out what it says about her powers.
Oh my god, she's on her she's on her way to getting like just the full 11 powers. She's gonna be breathing fire by season 5. I swear to God.
You know what? If they did it, it'd be fun. Okay. Telekinesis, extrasensory perception, technopathy, biokinesis, teleportation. What?
What? When was she able to teleport?
She appears to possess this ability as shown when she's somehow transported to the Upside Down upon defeating the Demogorgon. Okay. So that's just because of the bad writing.
Right.
Memory reading, evocation. And then kind of subcategories include levitation, remote viewing, telepathy, psychometry, that's 11, dimensional travel, and resurrection.
How many powers is that?
I lost count.
I did too. That's
Hold
why
on,
I'm
let's
asking.
count again. Hold on.
Oh my god.
Telekinesis, levitation, extrasensory perception, remote viewing, telepathy, psychometry, technopathy, portal manipulation, dimensional travel, biokinesis, teleportation, memory reading, evocation, resurrection. That's 14.
Oh my god. Okay, well,
she's fucking overpowered, actually.
Oh yeah. Like man, just like getting your powers back is one thing, but unlocking new powers too, that's some it's just why?
I just the resurrection literally came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Oh no. Just do you know what be like thing? I don't mean to kind of like offer this as the final note, so we're gonna have to talk. we should have like a really good sign off here. But imagine if like season 5 starts off with like them burying Max.
I'm going to.
Can you just imagine like how?
Oh my god.
Did you cuss me out or something? I'm sorry.
I cannot with this.
Okay. Okay, alright. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put a damper on it. Okay, something nice about Stranger Things so that we don't end off on a bad note.
Now I can't think of anything.
Alright, that'll be...
Okay. I'll end on this then. Ellen Hopper's reunion at the end of the last episode was so good and like heartfelt. Like he walks into the room and she just like bursts into tears and is just like, I never gave up hope. I was just like, aw.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Yeah, that was nice. I like that.
She got her dad back. Her good dad after her evil dad died.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Hopper should have killed Brenner though.
Oh, that would have been really satisfying, wouldn't it?
It would have been.
Fair enough, yeah.
Anyway, that's my final thoughts about Stranger Things.
Yeah, yeah, I put out my final thoughts on Stranger Things too. Gabe, how about you?
Stranger Things is a good show. Dark is better. That's all I have to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode. Sorry for almost ruining it. Okay, anyway. I guess then, since we are done for tonight, then let's sign off by saying, hope everyone enjoyed. For those who want to connect with us, you can find us on TikTok, Tumblr, Instagram, and Twitter. Our social media is down in the description below. However, our individual social media is also down with it, so you can connect with us individually. If you enjoyed our content, we are now on Patreon, so that you can subscribe to us for as low as $3, where you can get like immediate access to behind the scenes footage, daily updates, and hellos from each of us, and you're able to really engage with our content more than just what we offer up on the podcast and what we offer up on the YouTube page in general. But as well, there's also other other sites that you can visit, InkGuild related, such as our Wix site. We have an inactive Twitch if you want to give a like there somehow. But yeah, primarily just TikTok, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, as well as our individual pages, and of course our YouTube and Spotify, which you are likely checking out this episode. I guess then for a final sign off, what are we looking forward to in season 5?
Max not being dead.
I'm sorry.
Steve
and
Will
Robin
being treated better.
I hope season 5. Yeah, I'll go off of that. Yeah, I hope season 5 is just the season that like Will is finally appreciated.
Also, Mike dying. Is that me?
No.
Listen, they have to kill off one of the main characters eventually. I'm voting for Mike.
I am too. If it's anyone but Mike, I might actually stop watching.
Mike, I feel like Jonathan could die.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, does anyone really care anymore for Jonathan? Probably some people still do.
He's fine. He's such like a mid character.
I feel like Nancy's gonna die.
I was surprised they still kept Nancy
No.
alive. I thought that she was dead.
No, Nancy's staying alive.
Like, we kind of didn't touch on this, but like, had I not known about like season 5, when Nancy, Steve, and Robin were being choked out, I thought, yeah, no, they're dead. This is where they die. And they were being choked out for a long time.
Yeah, that's another suspension of disbelief moment.
Yeah.
But no, if she dies, I will riot.
Mm-hmm. I think like of the main thing, or like of the main 4, probably like definitely if you really wanted to, you could just kill off Mike. I would kind of be like I would be pissed if they killed off anyone else, but specifically if they killed off like of the main 4, if they killed off Will, I'd be so fucking pissed.
Yeah, no, I'm like it would. I feel like if they killed off Will, it would kind of be like, what was the point of the entire show then?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, like after everything that he's been through, they had to give him something, but just being back in Hawkins really needs to just it really just needs to develop. Oh my god, can you imagine if like a standing point, like if Vecna needs like some kind of vessel, he chooses Will or something?
I don't think that'll happen.
Probably not.
No, Will's been through enough. Give the boy a break and maybe like a better love interest.
A break and a love interest for sure, but he just needs to be like he just needs to shine.
He needs to be treated with respect.
Yeah. Just
anyway, we keep going back into this.
Yeah. Okay, so I think since we're all kind of done with the thing, or with the episode tonight, then hopefully everyone enjoyed. I certainly had a lot of fun speaking about it, so let's sign off for tonight. So thank you everybody for listening to the InkGuild podcast, and have a good night, have a good morning, or have a good day wherever you are in the world. Bye.
Farewell.
Good night.
Good night.
Do-do-do-do.